Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the C3 Friday Free for All, the show that is for Panthers fans by Panthers fans. We appreciate each and every single one of you spending your Friday evening with the C3 Panthers Podcast. Listen, if you would like to be a part of the Panthers discussion that we're going to have here tonight as the Combine is happening, then man, jump in. Join via Streamyard. I've posted the link and I pinned it to the top of the YouTube and the Facebook chat. So if you would like to be a part of this incredible Panthers discussion that we have every Friday at 7 p.m., well, darn it, it's your turn to do it. Jump in. Don't be scared. We don't bite. We welcome everyone to join in on this Friday Free for All. You already know I'm going to do it with the C3 Legion, the most faithful of the Legion. Only got a couple members here today, but we think they're going to start rolling in here soon. We already got a couple of them. But let me welcome my friend, my co-captain of the Friday Free-for-All. He might tell you to shut the hell up, especially if you don't believe his player comparisons. It's Panther Pickle. Pickle, welcome to the Free-for-All.
Panther Pickle!
What's up, guys? It's Combine Week. There's a lot of bullshit out there. And remember, if you want to know the real truth, come to C3 first. Because the proof is out there.
That's it.
Everywhere. I told you that James Pierce Jr. reminded me of Brian Burns months ago. All of a sudden, Vasti decides from Carolina Brits that the same thing. Shazam! Panther Pickle said it first.
Pickle's ahead of the curve. He's ahead of the curve. Hey, man, that's why you tuned in to C3, baby. Let's go. We even got some viewers on X. We got Stephen K. Belt, C3. We appreciate you, brother. Next up, let me go to my man. You know we wouldn't be able to do a free-for-all without the brand ambassador himself getting us pumped for Carolina Panthers football, even when it's months away. It's Deebo Skills. What's up, brother? How are you, man? And welcome back to the Friday Free-for-All.
Man, doing fantastic. It's another Friday. Happy weekend to the entire Legion, along with all the people in the chat this evening, fans of C3. We appreciate each and every one of you. I led off last week talking about Jackson Dart. We're going to return to that subject once again tonight because I saw news earlier scrolling across Twitter that it is rumored Jackson Dart could catch and surpass Shedeur Sanders in the draft, depending on how he does here at the Combine. So just keep an eye out. I've already told you he's the greatest quarterback to ever play college football, and that every team in the NFL, other than the Panthers, should be looking to trade up and get him on their squad. So if you're a team of other than the Panthers, please let your GM know that you need Jackson Dart on your team, and you must trade up above pick number 7 or 8 to get Jackson Dart. Get him on your team. But no, seriously, the allegations are serious about that. The rumors are swirling crazily right now about quarterbacks in the NFL. We already saw where Matthew Stafford is going to remain a Ram for this season. Aaron Rodgers' future is coming into question now, possibly even going to the Giants, which would really throw things amok in those top 5 picks or the picks above the Panthers. And people are climbing the board at the Combine. So we got all the latest news and Panthers opinions for you here this evening on another edition of the Friday Free-for-All. Cody, you know what I want to do? Let's roll.
Let's roll, baby. Listen, if Deebo Skills is telling you the truth, don't get mad at him. Just get mad at the truth. Jackson Dart is the one. They better go up to get him. Listen, man, you know the Friday Free-for-All is always more fun when my brother Cole is in the building. Colby, what's up, dude?
Cody Lack, what's going on? Boys, what's going on? Shout out to the chat, man. I would not rather be anywhere else in the world than right here with my brothers on a Friday, man.
Let's jump into it, boys. Hey, listen, if you're joining us right now, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe. Hit that notification bell for every single time the C3 goes live. We don't take no breaks, man. We are year round, and we're going to jump into it like we ought to do. Some of the biggest news that is happening around the NFL, we're going to start with, because anytime a wide receiver is mentioned as being available or on the open market, well, damn it, you know Panther fans are going to talk about it. The 49ers and John Lynch have given Deebo Samuel an opportunity to seek a trade. There are already teams that are swirling about being interested in the services of one Deebo Samuel. You have the Washington Commanders, the Houston Texans. There's even inclinations that the Steelers and the Broncos have checked in and that they might be in the running here. There are believed to be many teams who are going to be very aggressive for Deebo Samuel. Boys, he already has the ties to the Carolinas. He's a Gamecock. The Panthers seem to like Gamecock players as much as I fucking hate to admit that. That does seem to be the truth. But, boys, my question to you and my question to everybody in the chat room, should the Carolina Panthers be interested in the services of Deebo Samuel? Is he what we're looking for in the number one wide receiver? And how much does he elevate this room if the Panthers did indeed go out to get him? Boys, it's a free-for-all, damn it. Jump on it.
Yeah, I mean, Deebo Samuel would be a good addition for the Panthers for sure. And if you're a Panthers fan and you like Deebo Samuel and you'd like to see him on this team, I get that 100%. I really do. I think that's a valid thing to say. I want to see Deebo Samuel as a Panther. I don't think there's anything wrong with that statement. He's friends with XL. We already know this. We saw them working out together before the season last year. They're training. And it makes sense in a lot of ways that the Panthers could target him. But kind of like last week when we talked about some of these trade deals, I think that the Panthers are in on the conversation, but we just dip our toes in the water. You know what I mean? We're not jumping in head first, like, oh, we'll give you pick number 8 for him. You know what I mean? We're not going crazy out there. We're not like, we'll give you next year's first round pick. And other teams may be doing something like Commanders may really believe in their ability to have another strong season, and they wouldn't be afraid to trade a future first-round draft pick for a Deebo Samuel. But that doesn't mean the Panthers are willing to do that at this point. So I think that we're in the trade talks, Cody, but I don't think that we're jumping in them head first like maybe some fans would want us to do.
Okay.
Cody, you're definitely going to want to hear my answer with this, being the Clemson.
Come on with
fan.
it, bro. Come on with it.
Absolutely the hell not am I touching Deebo Samuel. I am sorry. If this was 4 years ago and he had a clean bill of health, absolutely. Nobody would be screaming louder for him. But we already have enough problems with Gamecock wide receivers on this roster right now. And if I need to say that again, I will. I do not want Deebo Samuel over here. If you want anybody off of the San Francisco wide receiving core, you can go ahead and send me Brandon Ayuk, please, sir. I'd much rather have him.
There's even a lot of talks that Brandon Ayuk might indeed be available too.
Yep.
There's a lot of turnaround in that 49ers organization. Pickle, talk to me. Is this something that would be good for the Panthers? And should we be involved in talks for Deebo Samuel? Panther Pickle, you there?
Probably talking and on mute.
Yeah, but either that or he's on mute. Pickle, you muted? Nah, either that or he walked away from the...
It might have been, yeah. He's probably too far away.
I don't know. Listen, I said this online, right? I think that a lot of our wide receivers have the same skill set. And people were like, oh, the Panthers are dead last in YAC. But we have a lot of big body, strong wide receivers that can break a couple tackles, that have that type of trait that I feel like Deebo offers. He's a yards after the catch wide receiver. And I really just don't think that if the Panthers are going to look to upgrade this offense in a real meaningful way this year, I don't think that Deebo Samuel is the guy to be able to do that. On top of that, you look around, there's pictures floating around of him right now looking very out of shape, not very
he's a buffet warrior right now, Cody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's looking like Gucci Man out here at Cole. Like it's not a good look, bro. So
not for a wide receiver.
No, really not for a wide receiver. So I'm of the mindset that this is just not the type of guy that the Panthers are looking for right now. We need to be looking for a more shiftier type of talent that can take over a game. And listen, I know a lot of people feel a lot of different ways about T. Higgins, but there have been multiple games in a row, or I don't know about in a row, but with the Cincinnati Bengals, where Jamar Chase was not on the field and T. Higgins was still out there eating up man coverage and getting 100-plus yards. So in my mind, Higgins has demonstrated more of an ability to be a number one wide receiver than Deebo Samuel. Some of you might agree, some of you might disagree. But to me, Deebo Samuel, and if you look at all those teams that are in the running for Deebo right now, most of those teams have a number one. The Commanders have Terry McLaurin. The Texans have a Nico Collins. You know what I mean? None of these teams are asking Deebo Samuel to come in and be that difference maker for him. So I really don't think that a lot of the NFL views Deebo as that number one wide receiver type. Does anyone think I'm off base for that?
No, I don't. He's not a wide receiver one anymore, Cody. I don't think so. But that could just be me. I mean, he might be. I shouldn't necessarily say that. And he definitely, that's the problem with it with me. He would be asked to maybe be that over here, and I don't want him as our wide receiver one. I don't know. I'm trying to think who I would really want as our one. I guess it's Adams still. But I just don't see Deebo Samuel being our wide receiver one, and what you would have to give up for him, it would look like it would be for a wide receiver one, is what I guess I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Other than T. Higgins, are there really any wide receiver ones out there?
No.
Exactly, and I don't make no deny of it. I have doubts that T. Higgins is a one, plus his injury issues and giving him that big contract. I just don't like none of the above. But everybody knows that's how my stance is, so I don't deny it. If we do get him, I'm going to be supportive of it and keep pounding, and we'll see. But I just don't think that's it. I don't think there's any ones out there unless you want to count one in the draft. And this, people like it or not, this may not be the year you upgrade for a one. Go get you maybe a two or a couple twos or something, and just keep what you've got until next year. But that's just my opinion.
Well, that's kind of my pushback too, Pickle. I don't think that you need the greatest signing in the entire NFL to improve your offense, and that's why I said if you're a fan and you want Deebo Samuel, that makes perfect sense to me, because we added Adam Thielen and no one expected anything. Everyone expected him to be the oldest, slowest player to ever hit the football field. But that's not what we saw. We saw a guy that caught over 100 catches, over 1,000 yards, and would have done the same again this past season if not for the hamstring injury that he got laying out catching a touchdown. You know what I mean? So Adam Thielen overperformed here with Bryce Young and Dave Canales. And I think another wide receiver, I don't know that it would necessarily be Deebo Samuel. It doesn't seem like we're in the running right now. There's no smoke to it. Usually where there's smoke, there's fire. If they would have listed the Panthers somewhere in that tweet, then I would think more heavily we were pursuing him. But even someone else that we could add that may not be the biggest name in the world could be a big impact on the field. Deontay Johnson had a monster impact on this offense, guys. I mean, he was juking people left and right and gaining separation. Now, he wasn't a good locker room guy. He wasn't a good fit for the Panthers. It was better to get Coker on the field in the end. But adding that weapon on the play field definitely showed. I mean, he was leading the receiving yards, not by a little bit, guys. Deontay Johnson, at the point from when they kind of let him go, was leading the Panthers by a lot, like several hundred yards in receiving. Yeah. So we can't really poo-poo all these options and say they're not good options, because how they perform here may be different compared to how they perform somewhere like San Francisco.
That's a great point too, man. A lot of these dudes are looking for that opportunity to change the fortune of a team. I think that's a great point to make too. And if you're T. Higgins, you're out there looking to prove that you are the number one wide receiver. I believe Deebo probably would as well. But another name, and I know that we've mentioned him a couple of other shows. But again, anytime a wide receiver is in the news, the Panthers inexorably have to be connected to it. Someone that is very familiar with Canales and Morgan, DK Metcalf. This says that the Packers had a trade offer on the table for DK Metcalf. Apparently, they're saying that it's a number one overall pick. I don't think, or not number one overall, but the first pick for the Green Bay Packers, the number 23 overall pick. To me, there is no way a team is getting a first-round pick for DK Metcalf. Or not the Seahawks, rather. Am I off base in saying that? Like, if you're DK and you look at what other teams are probably going to be trading for T. Higgins and Deebo Samuel, does anyone really think that the Seahawks are going to command a first-round pick for DK Metcalf? And does this interest you more than Deebo Samuel does?
Well, the original report stated a high draft pick, and to me, a high draft pick is because the Packers draft pick is in like the 20th or something like that. So I'm like, okay. So that means their second round pick is in the late 50s. So that's not a high draft pick. And then JJ said on Twitter something about a third. That's not a high draft pick. So you say high draft pick, it's got to be a first. A late second and a third and a late third is not a high draft pick.
No, it really isn't. Hey, man, listen, before we go any further, I would like to give a huge welcome to one of the four horsemen of the C3 apocalypse. He's back and is stronger than ever before. The Bat Daddy, back on the Friday free-for-all. Greg, my brother, what's up, man? How you living, dude?
Greg, how the hell are you, buddy?
What's going on, everybody? Can y'all hear me good?
Yeah, we hear you, brother. How are you, man?
I finally got it fixed. Last time I was on, we had problems with this, so good, man. I'm doing great, man. I'm, I've had a really good month going on lately, and I feel like it's time to start getting back in the swing of things with life. And I miss all y'all so much, and the fans, and everybody on the panel, and it's just a great time. And I'm not gonna lie, I haven't been paying that much attention to Panthers football over the last few months, but I'm ready to get back in the swing of things and start talking some shit. And have people hate me like they always do, because I'm the black sheep of the show. But it's cool. I can do that. I can have a good time. So let's get things started and let's talk about Panthers football tonight.
Let's go. I love me a black sheep. Y'all know I love me some Bat Daddy. Greg, let me go right to you, man. We're talking about all these wide receivers that could potentially be available for Carolina. Shout out to C3 Anthony. He has the mindset, and he believes very firmly that the Panthers are going to make an attempt to get a number one wide receiver. Between Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, who it looks like is probably going to get the franchise tag, who are you going to get for the Carolina Panthers if it is indeed true that they're going to upgrade this room with the number one wide receiver? Bat Daddy, take it away, man.
You mean just of those three?
Yeah, so those are the ones that are available right now. We know that T. Higgins probably isn't going to play under the franchise tag. DK Metcalf is rumored to be on the market, and the 49ers have given Deebo Samuel ability to seek a trade. So they're down with him moving.
If we're only going those three specifically, I'm saying Deebo. Hands down, Deebo. Like that guy's amazing. That guy's Christian McCaffrey of wide receivers. He can do no wrong. I think he has amazing potential. I think he is the kind of guy we need to stretch the field. He's the kind of guy that he's amazing in everything I've seen him doing. When he's at the top of his game, he's one of the absolute best in the game. I don't care what anybody says. Now, my pick of if we're going to pick a wide receiver based on what I've heard, and you guys have probably debunked these, like I said, I haven't been watching a lot of Panthers news or whatever. If Garrett Wilson wants to come to Carolina, I'm totally down for that. I think that was
heavy too.
Yeah, I am too. But after the Jets booted Aaron Rodgers,
that's what I was out to, Pickle.
Yeah, after they booted Aaron Rodgers and his boyfriend, it seems that Wilson has that change of heart, and he's willing to entertain the Jets.
But I'll even tell you, he's not even my top pick. My top pick is the guy that I called months ago, the guy that won me my C3 Dynasty League 2024 championship. Look at the ring. Kiss the ring. Yeah, there you go. Jameson Williams. I'm telling you, if they can make a play for that guy, even if they probably can't, because I'm sure Detroit's not going to part with him, but even if they could make a play for that guy, that is the absolute perfect connection for Bryce Young to be successful. And Bryce Young to be a good, well, I'm not saying to be a good quarterback. He played pretty well towards the end of the year. I'm not going to lie. Played pretty well. The last game was amazing. It could have been an anomaly, but the last game was amazing. That's the kind of guy you want to have on your team right there.
Greg,
It
if
is.
he hits the
Hey, real
market,
quick,
I just
let me tell
hey,
G.
my
hold on,
If
before,
he
oh,
hits
wait,
the market,
time
I'm
out.
telling you, that shit's crazy.
Time out.
He'll
Before
come
we
in.
go forward, I want to wish Panther Gal a happy birthday. 52 years young, a fellow Pisces like myself. Happy birthday, Panther Gal from the C3 Legion. Much love from Panther Nation. Greg, I agree with a lot of what you said, but I also disagree as well. Similar to what Cole said, if we're talking about Deebo Samuel for 3 or 4 years ago, dude, I'm down with it. But I feel like right now, Carolina's looking for a number one, and I really don't know if he has that type of skill set that really breaks open this offense in a new way that it didn't before. I feel a lot of the talent that we have on this team and what they do well is a little bit redundant. And I feel like Deebo Samuel doesn't necessarily change that much. I don't feel like he's a super duper separator. I do agree with you that I would love Garrett Wilson, but sort of what Pickle said. Now that Aaron Rodgers isn't coming back to New York, they're really not in a position to be letting go of the offensive talent that they do have on that team. If it wasn't for that, I would be 100% team Garrett Wilson.
So
He's a fan of Bryce. I would love for that to happen. I just don't know how realistic that is. You would have to give up the 8th overall pick if you were interested in making a trade for Garrett Wilson. And I don't think Carolina is willing to give up number 8 right now.
well, okay. So let me ask you then, based on that status, like, is there somebody at number 8 right now that we can pick at number 8 in any position, offense, defense, that is going to affect the team more than a Garrett Wilson would?
No.
No.
So wouldn't it be worth it? I would totally give him the 8th pick for Garrett Wilson's 25 years, 24, 25 years old, one of the best receivers in the league. If you have the right guy throwing to him, like, why would you not give up? I mean, no risk and no biscuit, man.
Well, to play
I don't know
devil's
if the Jets would even do it though, because I feel like they're
to
building
play
around him
devil's
now.
advocate here, and then Pickle D's jump in as well too. I think the reason why people would be opposed to it, Greg, is the Panthers had literally the worst defense in NFL history. We gave up the most points of any team ever in the NFL, and it's sort of a bad look when your defense is that bad and you have so many different positions of need. Dude, we don't have a safety on the roster right now.
That's a good
We
thing.
don't have a single fucking safety. Right now, we don't know who the center is going to be, either Corbett or Christensen. You need another corner. You probably need another linebacker. You probably need another 2 defensive linemen. That's just, and us not having a high second round pick. That's a lot to give up for Garrett Wilson when you have so many different needs on defense.
That's fair. I mean, what you're saying is totally true. I just wonder, in this day and age in football, I think that growing up my entire life and watching football my entire life, defense won championships. I think the tide has shifted right now where offense wins championships. I think the league is slanted towards offense. I think that if you have a high-power offense, you have a better chance of winning. I think that based on what I saw with Bryce Young the last 5 games of the season, if he has the right pieces around him, he's going to be enough to make that work. I think if you give him a guy like Garrett Wilson, like a phenomenal wide receiver, a top 3 wide receiver, if he's given in the right place, I think that it's the best move to make. Yeah. Look, here's my thing. There's no guarantees with anybody you draft. Okay? Anybody you draft can be a bust. I've seen a ton of guys drafted top number 1, top 5, been bust. Garrett Wilson's been in the league for a few years. He's not a bust. The guy's a legit wide receiver. So would you rather take a chance on having a legit wide receiver that can honestly make your quarterback that much better, or taking a chance on, because you got to think about it too, all our defensive players are young. They're going to develop into better players, hopefully. With the right coaching and everything else, they have the chance to develop into right players, Yeah. It's hard to pass a guy like Garrett Wilson, in my opinion, if you have the opportunity to get him. I'm not saying we do. That's all pie in the sky. It's probably not going to happen. But in my opinion, if you could do that, I would trade the number 8 pick for Garrett Wilson.
Hell yeah, dude. I definitely hear the logic. I don't think there's any player that would take our game over the edge on offense more than Garrett Wilson. I just think the circumstances around it make it difficult. Let me welcome in a brand new guest. We got Alex D, 814 Panthers, holding it down on the West Coast. That's the left coast. Back on the free for all. Alex, how are you, brother? Welcome back to the free for all.
Hey. Thank you, Cody. Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday,
up,
brother.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, so before we move forward anymore, Alex, what are you thinking about some of these wide receivers that could be available via trade for the Panthers, be it Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, who they're saying they're going to franchise tag. And how about this? Do you even think that the Panthers are in play to upgrade the wide receiver position in a big-time, meaningful way? Alex, what say you, man?
Yeah. I'm not willing to part ways with our draft picks just because we do need a lot of pieces. We're not one wide receiver away. So like,
Agreed.
And that's that to me. As long as like, obviously any of those guys would be great to have on our team for sure. But I mean, it just depending on the price. And Greg, I just wanted to point out. I mean, the Eagles last year were the number one ranked defense last year. So, I mean, and they won the Super Bowl. So, like, defense to me is a big deal. And we need defense. Like, we could score 40 points, but if we can't stop a nosebleed, then, it's going to be a long season. So, I mean, I'm hoping that, honestly, with that 8th pick, that we go, I want to go defense. And that's my, and then I also want, and I think Dan Morgan's alluded to it during those combine press conferences is that, free agency, I think he is going to go with like some of those young linebackers that are out there in free agency. I really think that he's going to really focus on the defense. And he focused on the offense last year. He got 2 guards. He got Hunt and he got Damian Lewis. And I think he's going to do the same thing this year on the defensive side.
Okay.
Well, can I ask a follow-up to that, to your comment there? Because I do like what you said there, and you're not wrong by any means. Do you see a guy on defense that is worth the number 8 pick that can really change our team? That can really make a difference.
You're on to something with this one. Great. I'm gonna let Alex answer it, then I'm gonna make a point.
I mean, I know what you're saying. Like if there are a couple guys on my personal draft board that if they drop to 8, that I would take. But like I know where you're alluding to, Greg, as far as like if like Walker's there, are you taking him at the 8th pick? Because is he going to make a difference, or is there like a corner or a safety? Like I understand like where you're getting at. We're in that 8th pick where it's like it's a tough spot. You hope that a couple guys drop so you have some options there. But I think it really just depends. I think it depends on like. I might even, move back in the draft, get a couple more picks from that 8th spot. So I'm kind of thinking that way too.
So that's a perfect segue right there, because I'm gonna call my shot right now. The Carolina Panthers, come draft night, come the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft, I do not believe the Carolina Panthers will be selecting at number 8. I do not believe it. I feel there are so many needs on this Panthers team right now that in some ways it's almost, you can even make the case unjustifiable to sit there at pick 8 if you do indeed have the opportunity to trade back and get more picks in future years or even just in the draft this year. But also think of it this way, right? Much has been made of the Panthers and their need for an edge rusher. We know this. But a lot of the guys that are saying or that could be available at the number 8 overall pick, specifically both of the Georgia edge rushers, both of those guys have crazy athletic potential and upside. But if you look into them, neither of them really have the stats that jump off of the screen that warrants being necessarily selected at the number 8 overall pick. However, we also know that we need defensive tackles. It's very possible that this year Carolina could slide back a little bit and potentially take either an edge rusher that falls to them in the teens or another Bash brother to go alongside Derek Brown right in the middle of that defense, or perhaps even a safety like Nick Amawari, who just ran today at the combine, ran a 4.38 and is a safety and is 6'3", 220 pounds. To me, the options are far more abundant if the Carolina Panthers are able to trade back, get more draft capital. I damn near think that it's irresponsible if they don't do it at this point in time when it appears as though they're going to have some great opportunities to do so. Boys, what say y'all, man? I do not think the Panthers are picking number 8 overall. I just don't.
Well, I think this comes down to the question of offense or defense, and I think this is what the main crux of this argument right here is. I'm looking at the records for last year. We would have won 4 more games last year with 1 more touchdown, putting us at 9-8.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not playoff bound, but 9-8 changes the whole league up a little bit. So with the exact same defense we have right now, with 1 more touchdown, we would have been 9-8. So this is the hardest part about the football right here is like trying to figure out, will the edge rusher that gets you 1 more sack a game, or maybe 2, win you the games, or will the possibility of 1 touchdown more a game win you the games? This is why it's so difficult. I'm on the side of 1 more touchdown will win you the game, because points win games, not sacks. You can have a guy sack 12 times in a game and still win, in theory. Doesn't really happen on it very often, but it can happen. I just think that bolstering our offense right now in an offensive-minded league where referees and the game is tilted more towards offense is going to make our team better right now. And defensive players you can build. Look, I think that great defensive players go to teams they see potential with. Like, look at players like Von Miller and guys like that. They go to teams they think they're going to win on, which I heard things about Von Miller today we'll talk about later, I'm sure. But I don't know, man. Yeah. I just think that bolstering our offense is the best idea right now. I don't see any game-breaking defensive players at our position that are going to change our team more than a guy who's an explosive offensive player would. I feel like we're already set at running back. I feel like we have a solid wide receiving core minus like 1 really good guy. Bryce is kind of coming into his own. Hopefully he continues to play the way he was throughout the rest of the year. I think that if you can put up, statistically in the NFL, if you can put up 21 points, you're going to win the game. Like that's just the way the stats go. If you put up 21 points, you're going to win the game. So we're going to see what happens. I'm sure it's changing throughout the league, but I just think that offense is the way to go with this guy, especially when the entire franchise has been banked on Bryce Young being the guy. Like, he's on the offense. You want to have him have all the options available, No,
100%. I'm in agreement with you. I do hear you. I do think that we're gonna go defense, but you're not wrong. If the Panthers get a couple more touchdowns last year, dude, we're looking at potentially a much different end of the season. I think Panther Pickle was going to jump in. Pickle, what say you, man? If you're still there. No, Pickle's not there. He'll be back in a second.
Nah, I'm back.
Nice.
Yeah, I did you ask? Anyway, I was just going to say,
well, just overall, like my react to my statement of, I don't think the Panthers are going to pick at number 8. I think that we're destined to trade back. Also, let me read the super chat before you go, Pickle. He says, right. Let's say Ted McMillan is currently at 8. The Cowboys would to trade up and get him. What will you do? Choose Ted McMillan or trade? Oh, Chester, I'm trading back in a heartbeat. Heartbeat. Where are the Cowboys picking, by the way?
Where are the Cowboys picking? Yeah, that's the question. I'll tell you.
12. 12.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I like that. I like that right there.
I would do that. I would do that, and shout out to some folks who may not know this, but
Do it
New
and
England
trade
has
back another time too.
New England has probably one of the most caps in the league, right? Available cap. They have a shit ton of cap. Now that being said, they've recently pulled their name out of the T. Higgins. They said they're not interested. So either they're not willing to give up the pick, or they're not willing to give the amount of money that T. Higgins' agent wants. That being said, they also are in the line they're drafting 4th. So they're right there for a wide receiver. So some of y'all, I'm going to point blank ask you this question. Who's better, T. Higgins or Ted McMillan?
That's the question right there.
All day and tomorrow. T. Higgins.
That is the question right there.
I would say Higgins.
Okay, but here's the other question. If you're New England, you're going to give T. Higgins $40 million a year, and he's injured a lot, so a lot of times he's not going to be there for your rookie quarterback. Plus, you also have to patch up that tight end room that's running bare and low, and other needs. They have other needs anyway. What I'm trying to say. So the offensive line room more than the tight end room. But anyway, so do you want to give up picks, or would you rather take the rookie receiver who's projected to go real high to put him with your former rookie quarterback, let them build a bond together, and have the available picks to fix up your offensive line? Now, that being said, to answer Cody's question, I'd definitely trade back. I would definitely trade back because it's more feasible. A lot of these teams, when you give a guy top of the market money, you want him to be there for nearly every game, not miss games because you hurt.
And I got to ask, does everybody here think that T. Higgins is truly a number 1 wide receiver?
Oh, I don't.
I think he's a very solid number 2. I think he's a Devontae Smith. He's a Waddle. He's a very solid number 2.
I agree to that.
I don't think he's a number 1.
Let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think AJ Green was the number 1 wide receiver in his day?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, then to me,
100%.
T. Higgins can be and is every bit of an AJ Green. I know some of y'all might disagree.
No. Oh, hold on, Cody. I'm not challenging you on this.
Hold on,
I'm about to compare the stats.
All right, let's do it.
I'm going to compare the stats. There's no way T. Higgins is even close to AJ Green. There's no way.
Remember, Jamar Chase also on that team, and Jamar Chase is a beast. But also understand that there have been multiple games where T. Higgins has not had Jamar Chase on the field, where he was the number 1 man, and he still comes down with 100+ yards a game. The dude has the skill set to do it, and I think that the Carolina Panthers aren't going to be the only teams that are going to be thinking that. I think there's 2 or 3 teams that are more than willing to make T. Higgins the number 1 wide receiver for them. I think the Patriots are in that running, and there's another team on that list that I think could be there. But also remember, Greg, it's not just a 1-for-1 comparison of their stats. You're also comparing what they do well and how they do it, their height, their weight, all that stuff. To me, he is the number 1 wide receiver. I know people disagree, but he's a pinpoint jump up ball receiver. He runs good routes. He's faster than you think he is.
He's a great wide receiver. I'll give you that. I'm not denying by any means T. Higgins is not a great wide receiver. But you cannot, I'm sorry, Cody, you cannot compare him to AJ Green right now. Maybe in a few years, he'll be on that level of AJ Green as far as when he puts those numbers in, but he hasn't done it as consistently as AJ Green did for years. Remember, AJ Green was 2011, same year as Andy Dalton, same year as Cam Newton, same year as Julio Jones, a great draft class, okay? AJ Green was an amazing wide receiver for the first 10 years of his career. T. Higgins has not been that for that long. He has a possibility, but he's not there yet. So I can't compare him to AJ Green quite yet.
But that's my point, though. If you're saying that he has the possibility, then you're saying that that's an AJ Green-like wide receiver if he's capable of doing it at some point.
Okay, well, let's look at it like this. So AJ Green has an average of career average 725 receptions, 727 receptions, 10,514 yards, 14.5 average, 70 touchdowns. Okay, we're looking at right now. T. Higgins, he has literally half of that. 330 receptions, 4,595 yards, 13.9 receiving, and 34 touchdowns. I mean, you're talking about a guy who has half of that. Yeah, the potential's there, but dude, you see wide receivers fall off the league every year. Every year.
I'll say, remember, it's not a 1-for-1 with the stats.
But why is it not 1-for-1? Why is it not 1-for-1?
He hasn't been in the NFL as long as AJ Green had. That's number one. Number two, when AJ Green was in the NFL, he was Andy Dalton's number one wide receiver.
And T. Higgins has a better quarterback throwing to him.
Yeah, but he also has Jamar Chase on the field, and they had Joe Mixon for a long time. It was a good pass catcher running back.
Nuance.
By the way,
I get you. Nuance is a bitch. Okay, I get you.
Even in spite of all of that, he has 3 seasons at 1,000 plus yards. It might be 2, and last season he had like 900 or something like that. But the dude has demonstrated to be a 1,000-yard wide receiver on multiple different occasions, even when he wasn't the number one option in that offense. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to let somebody else jump in on this. We'll go Pickle and then Cole after.
Yeah, the reason why he had those yards, and he's had 1,000 yards twice, and both of those were barely 1,000. They were like 1,091 or 1,029 yards. So they were barely 1,000. But all that being said, nice. That's nice, but that was under an offense designed to throw the ball downfield. Now, that current offense, the guy who controlled that current offense is currently the head coach of the Titans. So, that being said, there's no guarantee he comes here, he's going to run into that kind of offense.
Right. And I do want to point out.
Yeah.
Good.
I just, you know, Brandon, last year, everybody screamed they wanted Brandon Ayuk. Everybody screamed they wanted Brandon Ayuk. And yeah, y'all know who I'm talking about. Screamed and yelled and kicked and screamed and had to trade everything you got for Brandon Ayuk. Well, the 49ers paid the man his money. A year later, they say, nope, changed our mind. We tried to trade him. So
Higgins is better.
What do you
hold on? Whoa.
It doesn't matter.
Higgins is better than IU.
I think both of them are overhyped and overpaid.
Let me let Alex go.
And then let me get after that because I want Higgins.
No, as a matter of fact, no. Let me let Cole go. I did say that Cole could go after Pickle. We'll go Cole and then Alex, and then I'll let Daddy rebut. All right, Cole.
Listen. The thing with T. Higgins is he's still got time. He has been in the league a few years, but he's still 26 years old. He can play till he's at least 30. So if I can present you that, and then I could tell you I'm giving you a receiver for Bryce Young that is long with his catch radius, and I truly believe he could get 4,000 yards here if he plays for 4 years, if he at least gets 1,000 every year and 10 touchdowns, if you feed his ass correctly and the line blocks, which I think that they can. And then most importantly, I'm going to be really quick with this part because it's kind of off topic. Daddy, what you said earlier about offense and then drafting earlier, if you do this T. Higgins shit on top of that, I'd like to present to you somebody that could be worth it, that would make a big difference on this offense, especially as a gadget guy who has speed and he is big as hell, and that is the tight end from Penn State. That dude is an animal.
Oh, we're gonna talk about
those
that
two
too.
Together.
And we have a clip of Dave Canales.
And then you can have the rest of the draft for the defense, like I tell everybody.
Look, you raise a great point. You raise a fantastic point there. All I'm saying is, and I'm not defending. I'm not saying that T. Higgins wouldn't be a good guy for Carolina. Absolutely. He would be a very good receiver for Carolina. What I'm saying is, I don't like the comparison to T. Higgins and AJ Green because I'm going to give you the stats right now.
Cody, but he's going to need to.
I'm going to give you the stats right now. T. Higgins' best year had first 5 years: 908, 1091, 1029, 656, 911, 6675 touchdowns. Okay, first 5 years. Okay, AJ Green. 1057, 1350, 1426, 1041, 1297, 711, 11, 610. There has been no season in which T. Higgins has even come close. Even come close to being as good as AJ Green ever was.
He was the number one wide receiver on that offense.
Greg,
oh my God,
Bengals spent the first round pick on Jamar Chase. Let me get Alex in here. Go ahead, Alex.
Greg, I'm sorry, you're comparing apples to oranges. You got to look at Jamar Chase's numbers next to AJ Green because Jamar Chase is the number one. So it's like, no, he's the number 2 wide receiver, and he's had 2,000-yard seasons, and then also he's had a couple seasons where last season I think he had 10 touchdowns. So the guy's an animal, and like we just need
the
him.
The year before he had 656 yards,
and 5 touchdowns.
Touchdowns.
Thank you, Pickle. Thank you. Good job. Thank you, Pickle. Yeah.
Both years he was only healthy for 12 games.
It was, and how many games did Joe Burrow play? How many games did Joe Burrow play last year?
Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase.
Right.
Hey, injured quarterbacks happen all the time. And yeah, Carolina knows all about injury quarterbacks. So I don't want no excuses because injury quarterback. If he was on the field, I don't want no excuses for injury quarterbacks. Now, that being said, I'm not anti-T. Higgins. I'm anti-overpaying him, and I'm anti-giving up more than anything. I'm anti-giving up good draft picks for him.
I'm with Pickle. I'm with Pickle. I like T. Higgins. I'm with Pickle.
Or 1 second pick, I get you. I got that.
Yeah, I'm with you, Pickle. I like T. Higgins. He's not worth giving up the franchise for. I totally agree. He is not the guy you give up the franchise for.
Yes, exactly.
I think this is the year to do it. Let me welcome in. We had 2 more people on the show. We got my man, always bringing the hope. We got D Money in the building. D, what's up, brother?
Yeah. What's going on, my C3 family? Oh,
what's up, brother?
Daddy in the building. Oh, we got the birthday boy, little bruh, still just celebrating birthday. Oh, Diesel Skill. Man, the family is in the building. And, hey, I'm at work, but you know I was going to step in for a minute to bring a little Panthers chill. What's going on with the family? What we talking about, man?
Oh, man, we're talking about it all. We're talking about right now is T. Higgins a number 1 wide receiver, and should the Carolina Panthers be in on getting him, or Deebo Samuel, who's on the trade block, or DK Metcalf? Tell me what you feel, man. How do you see this wide receiver situation?
Okay, so I'm probably one of the most unpopular because I have stated numerous times that I do acknowledge that we need a 1 receiver. I've never been one to say that we didn't have an established 1 receiver. And I understand, people have the rhetoric of, the third year is the most important year for the rookie quarterback and so forth. But what I challenge in that is our offense passing the ball at the end of the year last year was not bad. And if it means that we're going to just be distributing the ball around to just anyone out there on the field, just like whoever's getting open, and there's not a lot of key targeting and like just on a guy or whatever, I'm not that really worried about it. Now, is T. Higgins a number 1 receiver? Yes, he is a 1 receiver. In the NFL, he has the tools and the prerequisites to be a number 1 receiver. I can say that. But in the same breath, I'm kind of on the thing is I would be a fool not to want a T. Higgins. But I'm not trying to give up too much for a T. Higgins. I'm not as high on Deebo Samuel. I'm not as high on Deebo just because of the injury concerns. Maybe it would be just about what we would have to give in compensation, but I'm not really high on that. DK Metcalf, I would be excited about a big target, a guy that's proven and so forth. But right now, if we're going to reach and we're going to overpay, I really want it to be in the places that we are the weakest. Like if we're like how last year the offensive line was anemic before going into the season, and they went and they put a concerted effort into bolstering the offensive line. We reaped the benefits of that this year, and I don't believe anybody was disappointed in that investment that we made. Now, if we take that approach, and I know people, want us to have a 1 receiver, But in my eyes, that is not the weakest areas on our team. I felt like last year we left 3 to 4 games on the table just because of defense. And I'm not saying do a Matt rule and draft everything defense. I'm not doing any of that. But basically, what I'm saying is if we're going to make capital investments,
Yeah.
franchise changing investments, I want them to go to where we were the weakest. And well, if we are the worst rated for defense and pretty much in NFL history by giving up the most yards in NFL history, I feel like our main concern should be getting defensive playmakers, not just players, playmakers, guys that can play right now. And unfortunately, because of what our record has been, what our reputation has been over the years, that's not going to come cheap. So if it means that we have to overreach on premium linebacker and defensive line play, that's where I would love for it to go. If we're going to give up major draft capital, I want it to be a game changing defensive player. But I want to be clear. I do truly understand the need for a one receiver. But I was not disappointed in the passing production at the latter of the season with the Cokers and Moore and Thielen when he came back, Excel. Mind you, I don't want to see more next year, but it's just the point I'm making that whoever was in the best position to make a play, that's who Bryce went to. And if that's what we have to do, possibly for another season, and our defense is better, then that's what I would prefer to do. I hate to cut it short, but I got to get back on that clock. You know I love every single
Love you,
one
G
of
Money.
you. If you're not with us now, you're not welcome to the parade. Keep
Keep
Amen,
on
brother.
them,
If you ain't
brother.
with us now, you're not
Yes,
coming to
sir.
the parade.
Tell them, tell them, tell them. We got more people joining the show, and I finally have some backup in this T. Higgins debate. My man, Anthony, back on the free for all. Ant, what's up, dude?
What's going on, boys? Happy Friday. How are y'all doing, man?
Doing good, brother.
Ant.
Doing good.
What's up,
I'm
Greg?
gonna
How you
let
doing,
I'm gonna
buddy?
let Anthony go first, but let me also introduce and welcome Chuck back on the free for all. Chuck, what's up, brother? How are you, man?
How you doing? Happy Friday. It's about to be March. It's going fast already.
Yes, sir, man. Already March 1st, tomorrow. We appreciate everybody for hanging out with us. Anthony, let me start with you, man. I know you have been big on this train that the Carolina Panthers are going to go and get a number one wide receiver. I've been defending T. Higgins. Pickle and Greg don't think that T is financially worth it right now. How do you view the situation? What do you think the Panthers are going to do? And is T. Higgins the number one wide receiver for the Panthers in 2025?
Yeah, so a couple things. First off, not going to go into depth on this. Me and a buddy have a whole video about this. I'll link it in the chat at some point. Cap space isn't an issue, so stop thinking about that. 1, 2, T. Higgins, yes, he's only 26 years old. I've had him on my fantasy teams where in games where Jamar Chase is not playing, the dude is a baller. He's still gone off. And again, man, listen, this is ultimately what it comes down to, man. This league is a supply and demand league. Wide receiver, Greg talked about offense being it's an offensively driven league. I totally agree with that. I still think you can get away with having a great defense and not the best offense and win. I still think that's always going to be a staple of football. But man, you're going to have to pay for good players. And, I love everything D said, but I still think this team can make moves on defense and get a wide receiver at the same time. Last year, I talked about this. He still gave out decently big contracts to some of these defensive players, right? After fixing the offense. So the whole idea that, we have to focus all our energy on one side of the ball this upcoming around free agency like we did technically last year, it's not necessarily true because we still did make moves on defense last year. But overall, yes, I think T. Higgins is a number one wide receiver. The comparisons to, like, he's not AJ Green yet. He's not any of those guys. He hasn't played long enough. Like that, all of that is true. Greg's right about that. But that's why I don't like making these comparisons, because we don't know what he could be. You know, someone brought it up in earlier, like, I think Pickle brought it up. Oh, well, you know, he was in an air raid offense with Brian Callahan, the Tennessee coach. Well, Canales loves to sling the ball, and like I know Bryce, you know, he had a great comeback story last year. Like he's really risen onto the scene, but man, our offense still has to move slow and methodically down the field. We don't have that deep threat guy right now, and I just feel like if we got a guy that you could throw like a 40-yard skinny post to, it make the game so much easier, man. And I'm just telling you, listen. I know for a fact this team is going to try to get a number one wide receiver. That's just what I've heard. That's just from people I talk to. I've been doing a lot of digging. I trust my gut on this one. I don't know if it's going to be T. Higgins, but I know they're going to try to upgrade it for Bryce because of the year 3 algorithm that D brought up. This is what good teams do. You got your quarterback year 1, you fix the O-line year 2, and year 3 you try to get that guy that can elevate your quarterback to what kind of player you think he's going to be for the foreseeable future. I just took the words out of Cody's mouth, we were talking about earlier today, but like that's the truth, man. And that's not to say, listen, they're not going to neglect the defense. I think trading back is smart regardless, because I've also heard a lot of these guys, the Panthers have similar grades on all of them. So, like, if you're able to trade, like, and here's the other thing. I know I'm long-winded.
No, you're good, dude. You're good.
You're not. T. Higgins doesn't have any leeway on his contract. He's not like Garrett Wilson's a guy that you would talk about giving up a first-round pick for because he's got 2 years left, and then you got to trade him. It's like the Brian Burns thing. You know, the Rams offered that landslide of picks for him back in the day because he had 2 years left before you had to pay him. It's a completely different story when you're a free agent. Typically in a tag and trade with T. Higgins, you're looking at maybe giving up the second this year and maybe the second next year. And if I'm being honest with you guys, with our draft history and the unknown, like, you know, Greg brought it up, like, would you rather, like, T. Higgins is a good player. I'd rather have a good player than an unknown second-round pick, and especially with our history drafting, man. I just feel like it would not be a bad move at all to, you know, overpay a good player like we did last year. You know, oh, well, we overpaid Robert Hunt. Oh, well, the offensive line went from 32nd to 10th.
We didn't overpay.
Like, who gives a shit, man? That's just my take on it. Is like, when you're trying to build a culture and if you ever get opportunities to acquire good players, you got to forget about the blank check, man. Just be happy at good players on your team. And that's where I feel like we should stand right now.
No, look, Ant-Man, I love to love you and I love to hate you, man. And I love talking to you. You're such a good person to talk to, man. You stand on your ground and you have debates that are great. Look, and on a ton of things, I totally agree with you. On a ton of things, I totally disagree with you. That's why I love talking to you, man. It's so great. I just say that, like, sometimes we get our mindset wrapped around something somebody has done, and not looking at different things that go on in the league. I know that J-Mo, I talked a lot. I'm going to put this out here. I talked a lot about J-Mo and how he was going to be great, and everybody told me I was wrong. And I think J-Mo is a better wide receiver than T. Higgins will ever be, just based on the fact that he's the number 2 receiver behind St. Brown, and he's doing the damn thing. So I'm going to put this 2024 ring up right here and let you know that I don't think T. Higgins is the best answer. I think there's other ways to go, and this right here proves it. I tried to trade J-Mo to you, man. I tried to trade J-Mo to you, man. You wouldn't take him. You wouldn't take him. Everybody said he was garbage. And look at that, the glisten off the light. Look at that.
That should be my ring, damn it. That should be my fucking ring, damn it. My fucking ring.
No, I love your take, man. So yeah. Hey, Anthony, I love your takes, man. I'm talking shit because I know you can take it, but I love your takes, man. You do a really good job, and like I agree with you on a lot of things. I just man, it's just. I think we both agree that Carolina needs to build offense before defense. Like, take the sure bet on offense before defense. I think we're both on that point.
Yeah.
I just don't know if we agree on the same thing. The best offensive pick is right now.
So before I open it up to everyone, let me get Chuck in here. Chuck, what's up, bro? Is T. Higgins a number one wide receiver, and is he worth what we would give up to have to go and get him right now?
Maybe, but the defense needs to be improvement. Like, I'm just going by facts of what everyone has said, facts that came from Dan's mouth and Brandon Tillen's mouth. Like, these are facts of what they said. Brandon Tillen said pretty much from the combine that he wants to complete free agency and be able to field a team like the next day before even the draft begins. Brandon Tillis, he said that.
Yeah, I said true. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
True.
I know you're good.
Wait,
Eagles,
he said what?
Brandon Tillis said that this free agency he wants to get and start and get as much as free agents so they can fill the team before the draft starts.
Yeah,
so basically,
they're
in
gonna
a sense,
spend big, man. I'm telling you, they're gonna spend.
Yes.
Like, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, sure. There's a report that is true. The Eagles are not signing any of the pass rusher. They're letting them test the free market. Sweat, Williams, all the free agents because they are letting them test the free market. There's a rumor going out. It's reported they're going for Myles Garrett. This is a free agency where, like you said before, Ant was explaining the cap. I do believe now, in a sense, they're going for a wide receiver. It may not be T. Higgins, but they're going for a wide receiver. It's all written in the NFL history playbook. Get your QB, offensive line, wide receiver. It has been proven time and time again. I do feel like this is the situation with that. That being said, I've seen that Mason Graham tape, and I'm telling you guys, Mason Graham, I will be okay with Mason Graham at 6. Forget the second round pick and get T. Higgins. I'll be okay with that. I'll be more than pleased. And then
that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. Not gonna lie.
T. Higgins and Mason Graham as your two main big offseason swings, and get like defensive end, get a corner, get a safety. I'm okay with that. And all these defensive ends and defensive tackles, they're pretty much all the same in this draft. That's what I've witnessed in this combine, and what the results are. They're pretty much lumped together. Like, this is a draft where you can get multiple, and these defensive ends, then we're not bitching, complaining if a third round defensive end or defensive tackle is not contributing right away, where he can be a rotation guy and grow. I do feel like, in a sense, our method should be, like you Ant said, still draft. The draft is important. It's way important. But don't be the guy from us last year saying why XL sucks, but he's a rookie. You know what I'm saying? Get a guy like T. Higgins or Milton Williams or Josh Sweat. Those guys you can rely on, and a high priority Mason Graham. I don't think Mason Graham is going to be a bust. I seriously don't. I don't think so. I haven't looked anything in the draft. I don't think Mason Graham. That's all I know. I know Mason Graham's not going to be a bust.
So if I'm reading you right, hold on, real quick, Cody. If I'm reading you right, you're saying build through free agency and proven players, and if you hit a pick on drafts, that's awesome. But you build a team through free agency.
Well, I think what Chuck's getting at is that
I see what you're about to do there.
I'm literally asking. Like, that's what it sounded like you said. Like, what you're applying there.
Yeah, I mean,
you build with proven players, and then you get hits. So in drafts.
Yeah, because
there's context.
There's context, and it's funny that you brought it up. I was watching at Athletic, pretty much the last 10 Super Bowl people who went to the Super Bowl. You know the final piece that went to the Super Bowl? Michael Orr. When we signed Michael Orr, our offensive line was good enough to go to the Super Bowl. Kirk Coleman was a scrub. You don't remember this. Kirk Coleman was a scrub before he went there. He had 9 interceptions that 2015 year. Free agency does matter. It does matter. I'm not saying it's the bread and butter, but the draft is still important. This draft, everyone thinks, okay, if you build for a free agency, you're going to be trash, or you're going to be the winners in the Super Bowl winners in the summertime. That's not the case. Look at Washington. They built their defense was just like ours, trash. What did they do? Went through free agency, got free agency in the draft, went to 32 the 15th, and went to an NFC championship game. And I know you're about to say Jane Daniels is awesome, but if their defense was 32, they would not be in the playoffs.
No, I agree with a lot of what I'm hearing. Let me introduce somebody into the show, man, from the Black Cat Panther Podcast. Popping back on the Free for All. Pop, what up, dude?
What's going on, y'all, man? Finally, I'm back on C3 Panthers Podcast.
Let's go.
Somebody over there got some something shiny. What is that?
Oh, you talking about this right here? Some of this right here, yeah. It might hurt your eyes.
That should be mine, bro.
There you go.
Be mine, damn it.
Nah, bro.
I see you.
Fuck, man. I was so bro. Y'all don't know how close I was to winning the championship. Just for Greg at the last moment to beat me by like 4 points or something.
Bro, I beat you at halftime. By halftime, it was over. Like I beat you at halftime.
God,
no, it was a close game, and like honestly, the night that we had the championship game, it came down to J-Mo having a good game. If he didn't play a good game, I was done.
The night before, you and everyone in that chat were congratulating me on my victory, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It was wild, man. Well earned, well deserved. Pop, look, I know we've already spoken about this before. Talk about this wide receiver thing, man. Who's worth it? Deebo Samuel, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf. Is anybody worthy of the Panthers trading the necessary draft picks to go and get them to bring them here?
Trading?
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much going to have to for Higgins, DK Metcalf, Samuel.
I think DK, I would let him finish this last year because I think he has 2 years left on his contract. I would let him play out this year, and then he's going to walk away. He's literally going to walk away from Seattle. And then that's when I think a lot of issues is that we're trying to hurry up and fix this team right away. And as the great GOAT would say, get in the kitchen instead of using the microwave. Anybody who thinks that we're about to come out here and win right away, you're sadly mistaken. And I'm not willing to risk so much of what I'm not willing to put ourselves back in a Scott Fitterer era again. I'm not willing to give up so many things just to get one particular guy when I want to dominate the years to come. So I say build through the draft. Let's be in the playoffs in 2027, 2028. We have all the pieces.
Please, let me shave this damn beard. Oh my God, dude. You guys have no idea. I said I wouldn't shave my beard till the Panthers made the playoffs 2 years ago. And look at this shit. Come on, man.
That might be down to your knees.
Shaving that
my God.
It might be down to your knees before you get the opportunity to say
I'm
that.
ready to shave, man.
I'm gonna be honest though.
Maybe it's the beard. That's what's wrong with this.
Maybe.
I respect.
Next year is going to be an offensive draft. This year is a defensive draft, right?
Yeah,
the talent that's coming out next year is going to be crazy. But guess what, guys? We're going to have money. We won't be broke anymore.
Yeah.
We already do.
So just lay in it for one more year. Just lay in it for one more year. Get some of these pieces that you need out the draft. Spend your money wisely in free agency. And go out here after this season and really go hard.
All right. Hey, let me welcome in my dog, JJ, back in the building. Ohio State fan extraordinaire. National championship winning Ohio State Buckeyes. JJ, what's up, bro? JJ, you with me?
You make me laugh every time you say that. You remember the whole Ohio State extraordinaire shit.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, what's up? What's up, Greg? It's been a while.
What's up, man?
I don't know if you heard me, but yeah, maybe you should burn the beard off instead of shaving it, for
Bro, it'll go fast if I burn it. Yeah.
Oh, you mean like burn it like an effigy or something? Damn, that's up.
Yeah, what's that called? Arson?
You could burn it with some nair.
Ooh, that's a real bad burn. I've been there. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I don't even want to know how you've been there. JJ, let me ask you, T. Higgins, is he a wide receiver one? And is it worth
Yes.
what the Panthers would have to trade to go get him?
Yes. No doubt in my mind. Not one single bit. So, me and Kobe were talking about it in another chat, and I said T. Higgins might automatically be the second best wide receiver in our franchise history, day one. And then he told me, oh, hold on, respect DJ Moore. And I was like, you know what, you're right, respect DJ Moore. But outside of that, he would be the third best ever, basically.
Steve Smith.
And Moose, he's got Stevie at 1. That's why he
Yeah.
said
Yeah, Stevie's always going to be the one for now.
Okay.
But, he's automatically going to be number 3, day one. And by the end of like a season or two, he's probably going to be right behind Steve. Even if we take the gut punch of just bringing him in. Like, I'm just saying, like, eventually we got to acquire talent, y'all. And I get, like, the Panthers aren't necessarily in the position to just be, like, buyers. But it's not really about being buyers. It's about setting yourself up for success in the future.
Well,
Whether
that's
it's
what.
specifically Bryce Young, whether it's trying to open up the run game with the real threat on the outside, whether it's knowing you have the right guy at head coach calling plays by giving him another weapon to work with this fresh quarterback, like it's a lot of things T. Higgins is gonna bring to the table outside of just helping Bryce Young and like what he is.
That's your question, JJ.
So I didn't really have a
JJ.
question. I was just saying yes.
No.
He wants to ask you a question.
Ask me a question.
Oh, you asking me a question? Oh yeah, what's up?
So we got beer money, but wine taste right now.
Mhm.
How are we going to afford T. Higgins? Instead
See, I don't believe in
Horn?
that, Sid. I don't believe in that in the NFL.
Hold on. How are we going to be able to afford a T. Higgins, a J.C. Horn, our center, our left tackle? How are we going to afford all that? How can we do all that this year?
You make it
JJ,
work like always.
I taught you
I was
this.
gonna
No.
like. No,
He
I'm
said, I
just saying,
taught you
like,
this.
No, I already kind of knew how it worked because Pickle always explained that. But yeah, Anthony kind of like reassured me on like the whole
We
show how we're
have
gonna
cap
restructure.
space. We have.
And
We
we're going to make
already
more
have.
because of the upgrade with
Hold
every
on.
league.
He asked me the question.
But
I'm just saying,
the
like,
thing
Let
is,
JJ talk.
I
Let JJ talk.
don't
Let JJ
believe
talk.
that whole we have beer
if you
money
take
with
that money,
wine
right?
taste. All money's created equal in the NFL. All right, yeah, well, we have to spend a little more than a contending
That's
team who's
the
already
Saints don't that
established.
way.
Yeah, but we still are just gonna have the money just because we have one of the richest owners. Like this whole cap space thing, you can
Bro,
always like reassure and make new
we're
cap
not
space
in
with
the MLB, man.
restructures.
No,
You said
but we're
what?
not in the MLB. We're not in Major League Baseball. It don't matter which your owner is. There's a cap.
Yes, it
We're
do.
not in the
Yes, it
NBA.
I know
does.
there's a cap.
There's
Wait,
no
whoa, whoa, whoa,
penalty.
whoa, whoa,
There's no
whoa.
cap
There's an
penalty. We have a
There's
solid
an
cap.
escrow.
No,
There's a
no,
But
no.
thing called
there's
It
a
does.
escrow.
salary cap. But listen, there's a
Yeah,
difference between.
to
Hold on,
maneuver
look.
around the
There's a
salary
difference.
cap, you restructure and signing bonuses, which is guaranteed money up front that doesn't affect the
Right.
salary cap.
If
So it
if the
does
Also,
play,
but
help pay your
remember,
hold
hold
above
on.
on,
average as
whoa,
well.
Wait.
where's the
Let me just
caveat?
add. I'm gonna
If
let you
the
finish.
players take that, there is
But
the chance to do that. The players
remember,
don't necessarily have to take
That's
that
what
fucking
He's
thing.
looking for.
Time
He's
out.
looking
You
for an
know?
upfront
Wait.
payday.
Let me add the context though. If you're gonna guarantee a contract, you have to be able to show that as an owner that you have the ability to pay that money over years. You
That
have
is
to have
correct.
that money in escrow, even though you have a salary cap. David, and I said this to Anthony earlier today, David Tepper being the third richest owner in the NFL only benefits us. He is going to have the ability to guarantee these big time contracts that, for example, the Cincinnati Bengals cannot do right now with
The
Jamar Chase
Raiders.
that they're about to sign. And yeah, the Raiders don't have the
No,
ability. The
no,
Bears
you have
don't.
that, Cody. You're totally wrong about that.
No, he's
I'm
no,
not.
Cody's
I'm
He's
not.
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 I'm telling
Cody's
you.
not wrong.
You're
Cody's
totally
not
wrong about that.
wrong.
You're only wrong about that because there's only so look. I can be as rich as I want to be, but if I'm capped on the limit of money that I can put out every year, it does not matter. It doesn't matter. There's
So
only so much money that I can put out every year.
It does matter when there's loopholes built in the system to get around that.
Exactly.
That's
What are the
what we
loopholes?
say.
bro, what hold on,
Tell me
hold on. What
tell me a
y'all are
loophole.
missing here, what y'all are
Restructuring a
missing,
deal,
what y'all
If
are
the
missing
player
here,
agrees to it.
front
The,
loading or
the
back
player
loading a
has to
deal,
agree to
so
it.
you can
If the player
maximize
agrees
each
to
year
it.
of how much you cap space. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
If the
cap.
player agrees
but
to
JJ,
it.
which player?
Greg. You know what else? You only have to
But
be
JJ, which
underneath the
player
cap
is
line
going to?
one day out of the damn year. So you could be over it
But JJ,
345 days, but as long as you're under like that 1 week, you're good. It doesn't even matter.
but
Like,
JJ,
so yeah, the cap space is really like a
which
bunch of
player?
bullshit sometimes.
Hold on, let me read this out from Google real quick, right?
Explain the Saints
Hold on,
then.
wait,
Explain the
let me hold on,
Saints.
let me time out. Let me
You
say this
mean
real
where the
quick.
Saints went to one Super Bowl
No,
and won one
listen,
Super Bowl? Is that what you're gonna put out? They went to one Super Bowl.
We're
Yeah.
gonna read the
Hey,
stats
that's
How
right
one more
great
now.
that
than
was.
us.
Yeah.
That's one more than us.
I'm about to drop the rock on
We
you.
got no
Look,
Super
let me
Bowls,
explain
no
this.
back-to-back winning seasons. I'd love what the Saints had over the past decade.
We've
they
been way
also
better than the
went to a
Saints for the
lot of
past decade.
NFC championships.
Yeah,
Minus
that
Super Bowl
is.
win. Minus Super Bowl win. We've been.
Before y'all go
Made
further,
that right there. You can't put that on me. I made that.
let
That's
me
cat.
tell you that yes, the financial situation of NFL owners can impact whether they sign players to guaranteed contracts, but not all owners are equally affected. Wealthier owners, like the Browns owner Jimmy Haslam, can more easily afford to sign players to guaranteed contracts. So yes, having a richer owner does benefit your team's ability to sign big time guaranteed contract
Cody, can I
numbers.
bring this up?
Yeah,
This is a perfect segue. Okay, so like for example, it works in backwards too. Like Jerry Richardson was the opposite of David Tepper. The reason we had good teams at some points were because we hit
Preach.
on draft picks. That's not proven here. So like if you look over the cap situation for the next 3 years, and I think Prop brought this up. We don't need to be going making moves. You kind of do because you got the quarterback on the rookie deal, and even if he doesn't work out in a year or two, you have a good team for the potential next guy. So there's no kicking the can down the road is really just pushing money to down years where we already have cap space then. So it doesn't matter. This was all set up by Scott Fitter. The shit Scott Fitter was doing was he was giving out void years to players that were trash, and he traded players that we had paid, which caused dead money, like DJ Moore, like CMC, that we had like $70 million in dead money over the past 3-4 seasons, and including last year, they were still able to make some big signings. This year, they have no dead cap money. I'll say this one last time. Chuck brought it up earlier. Go listen to the Brant Tillis interview. I don't know. I'll put a link. Maybe Chuck has the link or something. But the dude talking like there's a plan here, and that they're going to spend in free agency because they're at the opportunity where they can, where they're not financially stuck or hamstrung by anything. So I'm
And
just getting that across.
I
It's
still
not.
don't get the whole beer money, wine taste process bullshit. We didn't even have as much cap space going into last off season, and we came out with Robert Hunt and Damon Lewis. That was
true.
over $150 million. Like we gave Robert Hunt a 5-year, 100 mil. Like, and we didn't even
Right,
have
but
that much money. We
how
didn't
many how
have
many?
that much leverage to
But
restructure our
JJ,
contracts to open up like we do this year. On top of the more cap space we already had coming into the off season.
but JJ, I believe a lot of people fell off that from kicking down the road by the time they was able to sign these guys. Not only that, the money that he was going to give Brian Burns or negotiate with Brian Burns was also contribute to that as well. To move around. But
Yes,
what I'm
because we
saying
had
is
dead
that
cap. I just go
right, a
ahead.
lot of people that was on the team fell off our books. What I'm saying is though, I understand that y'all believe the escrow thing can happen. I would love to see him do it because I'm still wondering why the Cowboys ain't signed Michael Parsons, and he's a rich owner. I mean, he's got plenty of money. Why is it having a hard time for them to sign him?
That's because
Number
he
two,
doesn't spend money
I
like
don't
he's
want
got
to,
money.
but
Right, but
I
so
don't.
let me also correct myself. This is from Katie Lit Zero. He says, Cody, you're right, but using the wrong term. It's signing bonuses, not guarantees. Thank you. I knew that as the owner, it benefits you to be richer when you're signing these contracts. So that's what I was talking about generally. But go ahead, Bob.
But as the Saints being the forefathers of what not to do, they have gave you the blueprint of what not to do. I try to
Yeah, we
motivate
weren't
y'all by
saying
saying,
doing that. Nobody said do what the
but I
Saints did.
get it.
Real quick,
I
let
know.
me no, go ahead, Pine. I'll let you finish and then pass the mic.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real quick. What I'm saying is that I don't know what the rush is, but I truly feel like this is going to be a good draft. We can really get some good stable pieces here. Whatever money you take out this year, if you keep depleting that, is going to come out of next year's salary cap too as well. So just spend your money wisely because we're not built for the Super Bowl right now. Anyway, matter of fact, we don't even know if we're going to have the same DC here next year coming up.
We're not.
There's a lot of things that got to take in consideration before we just be like, oh, get this and get that. Just do it the right way.
Yeah.
Well,
Let me go. Hold on, real quick. Let me go to my man Diesel Skills. These I went to you earlier, but we've had a full conversation here. What's some of what's your take on some of the stuff that we're saying, and just in general, this going to get a wide receiver? Is it worth it right now to spend the money and the draft picks to get a guy like T. Higgins? Just your overall thoughts.
Well, you guys are making some great points, okay? And you got me over here digging, making all these great points. And I agree with a whole lot of what's been said, if not everything that's been said, okay? And it's kind of the situation where I like that point where last year we did wonders for the offense by signing Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis, right? We completely changed the trajectory of the culture for the Panthers and the offense itself. So, yeah, some big signings in free agency are crucial. We did it with no money last year. We've got some money this year, and then a over projection of where the cap is going. Like, we're getting $22 million, and like teams were only expecting about 12. So that's looking really good. That hasn't kicked in yet. But with the T. Higgins thing, one thing I was digging into is they're looking to do what they did last year with T. Higgins on the tag. And it could be a tag and trade. But if they use this particular tag called the non-exclusive franchise tag, the player can negotiate elsewhere. If you remember, they did this last offseason with Lamar Jackson. It was the same thing where other teams were scared to negotiate or match the contract given by the Ravens, because when you do that and the player agrees, you have to trade 2 first-round draft picks as compensation. So the Bengals are taking advantage of this tool of the non-exclusive franchise tag and kind of holding T. Higgins hostage in a lot of ways. Most teams aren't willing to give up 2 first-round draft picks just to match the compensation given out by the Bengals, which isn't crazy. It's only like, what, 20 between 22 and 26 million. So, yeah, I think we can work the money out. I really do. But I think that the Bengals are guarding T. Higgins in a way that will make him a little more difficult to get if they use that non-exclusive franchise tag. Now, they may not do that. It hasn't been done yet. March 4th is the deadline, so we'll see what they decide to do later. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you, Cody.
It's great. I mean, it's great. Go ahead, Pickle.
Yeah. No, that was great, dudes. Go ahead, Pickle. You're up next.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to say, let's be careful. Some of you already know this. Some of you may not. There's a reason why in 2026 it's listed that we have close to 150 million in cap. All right. Well, there's a reason for that. And in 2027, it's listed we have over 217 million in cap. Well, that's because in 2026 we only have 25 players on the roster, and in 2027 we only have 16. Now, reality is we go into training camp every year with 90 players on our roster. That's not counting money that you have to spend for injury players and all that. So that's yes, but you sign a bunch of players now, or you try to push money back. I understand that, but let's also remember you only have 25 players on your roster. That means next year you're going to have to add in a whole lot of other players, and the year after that you're adding in a whole lot of other players. So now that extra cap gets gone real quick. Very quick.
Very quick.
It's simple arithmetic. One of the best ways to save gas, if y'all looking for I guarantee you the best way to save gas is to not buy any. Walk everywhere you want to go. Just walk everywhere you ever want to go.
Then we ended with 5-13 season, and like who the fuck wants to watch
exactly.
that?
Exactly. No,
look,
the best way
you got to bite the bullet at some point in time.
Yeah, you do. But
Pickle, do you know there's like 22? There's like 22 free agents right now on the team. 22.
Yes, exactly.
We're willing to spend all this money on one guy.
I understand what you're saying. I'm one of these guys over here screaming against all that.
Yeah.
Ask around.
Hell yeah, we're gonna spend that money on a good player.
JJ told me a while ago. JJ told me a while ago he didn't like me.
It's not all the money.
Yeah, I always got fuck with Pickle. Absolutely, we're gonna spend that money on one of the best players on the damn team. What the fuck? T. Higgins would absolutely be.
Also, hey, I want to let Anthony,
one of our best players if we had him.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let Anthony go after this, but Anthony and I did talk earlier, and I said this to him then that you're only paying the premium right now. All Carolina needs is a couple winning seasons, and players are going to take discounts to come here. This idea that players are never going to want to take discounts because it's a small market. No, dude, players go where they feel like they have a chance to compete for Super Bowls. The Panthers, 100% true. Dude, people don't go to Green Bay because it's a big market football team, but they go because it's the fucking Packers. Same with the Buffalo Bills, dude. If the Panthers can have a good season this year and potentially even win the division, players are going to want to come here. Players on our team are going to be willing to push back some of their money so that way the Panthers can sign other players. I agree with Anthony. I think if there's a time to do it, it would be right now. I agree.
Cody, I'll prove you wrong in one statement.
You think DeAndre Hopkins wanted to go to Kansas City, Missouri? Fuck no. He wanted to play for the Chiefs and Mahomes.
Okay, that's what you're saying. But let me ask you this then. We went 15-1 in 2015. Why did nobody want to come here?
Because it wasn't proven. Because we've never had back-to-back winning seasons. The fuck?
Bullshit.
No,
look, 15-1. I'm sorry. 15-1. 15-1 is the second best.
We didn't even pay our own franchise corner. Of course, another player isn't going to come here.
Listen.
We didn't pay our own player.
Hold on. Whoa. Hold on. Real quick. 15-1 is the second best record ever in the NFL, behind a quarterback that everybody thought was the next guy, Cam Newton, in the NFL. If that's the case, if people don't chase money and they don't want to win championships, why did nobody come here in 2016?
I'm telling you right now. I'll tell you right now.
Because it wasn't sustained success. That's why.
Go ahead.
No, I can tell you. I can tell you why.
Hold on.
Wait. Time out. We'll go Ant.
Because you won 6 games.
I can tell you why if anybody wants to know.
You had one off season to fucking work with. The fuck?
JJ, hold on. Chill, bro. Listen. The reason is because
you won 6 games the next year. What are we talking about?
All right, go ahead.
The next year, yeah.
Spent some time, I swear to you. We're gonna go Anthony, then Chuck, then JJ. Go ahead, Ant.
All right. Jesus, man. All right, listen. The Bengals
Anthony.
I'm just using this as an example. And I know about Jerry Richardson because he's the one that funded our football field where I go to school. Anyways, listen. The Bengals owner, they don't pay jack. They haven't paid players for years. All right? It's a part of the reason that they've stuck. Jerry Richardson, though, he didn't like giving out big contracts. He was part of the reason they led that lockdown year. The reason we didn't sign any free agents, I'm assuming a bunch of players wanted to play with Cam Newton, but he didn't like spending money on the salary cap. David Tepper's the exact opposite. Like we've seen that. He's been in
He'll
deals
throw money.
Yeah, like that's the major reason. It's more financial than everything. I do agree. Yeah, we didn't have sustained success, but I mean, the team was 15-1. You think after that season, there was
you have one off season to work with that, though. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, but at the same time, though, it's also like we also drafted all our good players. Like, that's the one thing this organization doesn't have a track record of doing right now.
Under
Like,
David
ownership
Tepper.
matters. Ownership matters in the NFL. Obviously, not as much as the MLB when you could go pay Juan Soto 15 years, $800
You're
million.
wrong. We didn't draft all our good players. You're wrong about that.
What?
Thomas Davis, Kurt Coleman, the fullback Colbert.
Thomas Davis was drafted by us.
Technically, he was drafted by us. Look,
We drafted K1 Short. We drafted Star Lutulele, Luke Kuechly, Cam Newton.
And where are they at right now?
Greg Olsen was the biggest name that we didn't draft on that team.
Kurt Coleman was a huge name on the team. Oh my God. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, Kurt Coleman.
Guys, but look, why
now?
can't we be reasonable and say that it's both? You have to have a good draft, and you have to have a good free agency. And by the way,
we drafted most of that team.
Dan Morgan, I mean, some of the best Panthers teams have been a convergence of draft players living up to their potential and free agents living up to their potential. That's going to be true for the Panthers no matter what going forward. We have to have good draft classes and good free agent classes, but we also know that Dan Morgan has said that he wants to do for the defensive line what they did for the offensive line last year in free agency. So I do think there's also a lot of reason to believe that, hey, maybe they don't go wide receiver in free agency, and maybe they do decide to actually use the draft to get another wide receiver like a Ted McMillan if they got two standout defensive linemen this year. There's lots of different options, but I also hear a lot of the sense behind what Anthony is saying about why they would want to go and make that investment right now when it's such an important time for Bryce Young to be able to do so.
And Cody, can you put up Alex's comment real quick, and then I'll shut up.
Who?
His last comment, Kitty Litzio, what he was talking about with the cap space. It should say something. Yeah. Read that to the people. So
contracts don't start paying out till 2 to 3 years later. We have about 50 to 80 million rolled over into 2027. We're in an excellent situation. Look at what the Eagles and 49ers have done. Okay, great point.
Yeah, well, the Eagles draft really well. The Eagles didn't start their rebuild stupid. The Eagles had a bunch of top picks, and then every year they traded one pick for a few other picks, and they insisted on getting the next pick from desperate ass teams. So therefore, they ended up a couple years with 2 first-round picks each, and they drafted really well. They didn't reach. They didn't get stupid. They sat relaxed, and they took who come to them. They ended up with a hell of a good defense. That's because they drafted well, and they didn't draft from coastal Carolina. They didn't draft from bumfuck Egypt over there, some unknown school in California. They drafted from well-known, established, successful college teams.
Yeah.
And you know what the 49ers did? The 49ers are dumping contracts right now because they realize they screwed up. You don't like it? Go look at the GM for the 49ers said. He said it himself. He said, we overreached, and now we got to correct it before it gets bad. That's what he said when he told people he
went to 2 Super Bowls and had a great run.
Well, let me let Chuck go. I told Chuck here. Go ahead, Chuck.
And you my boy, but Pickle's saying the truth. Okay?
Yeah.
Pickle is saying the truth. The 49ers screwed up. They got lucky on Brock Purdy. They got lucky because if they didn't hit and their cap space, he saved them. He saved them. Brock Purdy
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that. That's not my
Eagles,
point.
The Eagles are not doing anything. I hate when they say, "Oh, Harry Rosen's so smart." Yeah, if you just take the Georgia players, that's
not all he did.
That's not how he did. That's not
how long has Howard Rosen? How long has he done that job?
He's been there since what, 2010, Pickle?
Yeah, he's been there since 2009. He was one of these guys that fired Andy Reid, and everybody said crucify that motherfucker. They didn't. They stuck with their guns. He screwed up multiple times. He come out on top. He learned from his mistakes, and he moved forward. Now, us down here in this Carolina Pantherville, somebody screws up, we're lynching them out out back behind the parking lot the very next day.
Dude,
so
we're just talking.
let's not compare.
Howie Roseman barely
Let's not
rebuilt
compare
the
Howie
Eagles.
Roseman to anything the Carolina Panthers have ever done in their history.
But
that's a good
we're
point. Let me,
missing the point. Hold on. I was never arguing about how
No,
the
man, introduce
49ers necessarily built their roster. Like, okay, someone just brought it up, right? If we're taking credit away from Howie Roseman and saying all he's doing is pressing the Georgia Bulldog and spamming that button, well, clearly
That's
other
cat.
people are fucking stupid, because if that's all it takes to build a good team, then everyone would do that. So no, there's more behind the smartness of Howie Roseman. And second thing, I was just talking Cap specifically, man. Like, I get it. People don't want to pay certain players, and they don't want to be in cap hell and this and that. But let me tell you what. With Scott Fitter, we were in cap hell, and we had no good players. So at least if you acquire some good players and you got to bite the bullet for them, it's better than having no cap space and no good players. I just think the message is getting lost a little bit. That's all. That's all I'm trying to really say here.
No, look, Ant, you're right, man. Look, like I said, I respect everything you say, Ant, because you're a very smart guy on this. I think this is so nuanced that it's so hard to tell what's going on, you know. But look, real quick, Cody, I told you I had a hard out at 8:30. Okay,
no problem.
I'm gonna go get out of here. Look, C3 Nation, I love y'all so much. I wanted to come on tonight, have a good time. I plan on being back more in the future, starting to integrate myself back into life and everything else. I love all of y'all. It's great to talk to y'all. I do want to say to anybody who's new to the show or anybody who's been on here before, go check my track record. I'm almost always right. I'm not saying I'm right all the time. Go check my track record. I'm almost always right. And 2 or 3 years later, everybody's saying, you know what, Greg? You were right about this. So there's a reason I'm wearing this ring. There's a reason my team has a 23-year-old average in the Dynasty League, and I'm the champion. Okay? Like, I'm almost always right about this kind of stuff. Okay? I'm just telling you, I have a knack for this. All right? So I love y'all. I want to see y'all in the future. I'll be back very soon. Thank y'all very much for having me, of course. And Cody, man, always good to see you. Pickle, everybody there, Ant. Like, I love y'all. I'll be back very soon. I'm working my way back into real life. And y'all are a big part of my real life. So thank you so much for having me tonight.
Daddy, you are
absolutely. Have a good
family
evening.
forever.
Sure, man.
Daddy, we love you, man. Have a great evening. And yeah, we'll definitely be seeing you a lot more here in the future, brother.
Yeah, man.
Have a great evening, brother. All right, everybody.
I want to ask a question, Cody.
He talking all that shit, but he said we could replace CMC with
I want to
Miles
ask a question,
Sanders.
Cody.
Just let him have his moments. Let him have his moments. Who gives
That
a
is the
fuck? Go
same
ahead,
dude who
Chuck.
said that
Cody.
shit.
Go ahead, Chuck.
I want to ask a question. Who is for favor for like trying to get better in 2026? Because what if Abdul Carter is this real thing as a stress factor? What if he falls to 8? Do you take him?
Of course, that's a great question. So
If he says, "Okay, Abdul Carter, he has to miss 8 games. He has to miss 12 games in his rookie season."
Yeah, you take him just like the Eagles took Jalen Carter when he had rage issues.
But that's a different situation. He was in.
You said he's missing how many games?
Say, for instance, this stress fracture is bad. He misses 8 because the surgery is 6 to 8 months if they do surgery on it.
But he's not having surgery. He's not having surgery. They've already announced saying that he's not going to need surgery. He's going.
He said he'll
going to have his pro day.
Yeah, he said he'll be good by his pro day.
There's no need to throw that scenario out there. Yeah,
so
he's going to be good on his pro day.
I remember your voice. You said about the Jonathan Brooks thing, and you don't like drafting injured players. Would you draft him in the 8 if he fell?
No.
Would you draft
he's not
him?
having surgery.
No,
But
he's not having surgery.
Though. He's injured though.
How substantial is that injury? I don't even know what it is.
Well, there's a difference between Jonathan Brooks and Abdullah Carter. We have hardly any depth at that position. Brooks was drafted to be a backup. And I'm sorry, I'll say it to my day. It was a mistake drafting a backup running back with the second pick.
That's so disingenuous. That was very disingenuous.
Hold on.
Very disingenuous.
You're
telling
me the reason the people have been justified, because I'm on board. I do not want to draft this guy, but the justification for this pick the main reason that everyone's told me for the past few months is that no one knew that Chuba Hubbard was going to be the player he is now.
Exactly.
There was still clear-cut evidence that he was a good player. He got 900 yards last year behind one of the worst lines I've ever seen, just by the eye test.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
There is no way you're saying right now that we drafted him to be a backup. There's no fucking way.
What? Okay.
Yeah, hold that thought, Pickle. Hold on, Pickle. Hold that thought.
And I
We
ain't
have a
good
great-
hold.
No, I know, but we gotta do it
He's
anyway.
gonna sit there and hold.
No, look, we have a great conversation about the draft, and we're getting ready to fully transition to the draft and what we're gonna do at 8. But listen, man, before we go any further, I have to give thanks to Underdog Fantasy, man. This basketball season, when your favorite stars score buckets, we're alley-ooping you an opportunity to win money from watching sports with Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is one of the leading sports apps, and you can play now in your state. To play, choose whether a player will higher or lower on one of their stats. Example like points, assists, or rebounds. They've got all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. Create entries with basketball picks or mix and match across different sports. So we're talking basketball this week. I've got Luka Doncic at higher than 26.5 points. I've also got Naz Reid of the Minnesota Timberwolves at higher than 3.5 assists. Make you some money with Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code. Sign up with the promo code CP3, or pardon me, C3P, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. We appreciate Underdog for sponsoring us. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 533-402. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-HOPE New York or text HOPE NY. Thanks to the Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the C3 Friday Free for All. We appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. Now, let's talk about this draft, boys. Panther Pickle, I know you're not good at holding, but if you remember where you were, jump on.
Yeah, Pickle, please explain yourself because I'm confused.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to introduce someone after Pickle. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Maybe I shouldn't use the word backup. All right. I'll say maybe I got carried away. Let me put it this way. I wouldn't have drafted him, Brooks, myself personally. Okay. I didn't think it was a smart decision. I do think that they became under pressure of a certain woman sitting in the draft room. That's my personal opinion. Now, I don't think she knows what she's doing, and I don't think she needs to be in there, but she's the owner's wife, so what the fuck can you do? At least they're not making deals for condos in Florida. So that being said, and it's nothing personal against Brooks. I'm sure he's a great guy, but I wouldn't have drafted a running back in the second round with an injury. If you wanted running back, there were other running backs on the board that was healthy. Just like I wouldn't have signed DJ Wanham since he wasn't healthy. Now, Chuck, I understand what you're saying about not signing or drafting injured players. I do understand that. The Panthers have done in the past, and it's been a massive mistake. A lot of that, I believe, was we took so many that was already injured that adding in a injured, and it's also added who was there, who was sitting there that you could have got with that second pick that you didn't
Bucky
get.
Irving.
A corner. Go ahead.
If I can throw some extra seasoning on top of this chicken that you're cooking. Do you remember the Carolina Panthers drafting a particular wide receiver? What was his name? Oh man, Terrence Marshall Jr.
Yes.
Yep. I do.
What was it?
Yes.
Do you know why they went to go get Terrence Marshall Jr.?
Because it was a favorite of the offensive coordinator at the time.
No, not
Well,
necessarily.
that was the rumor.
It
I'll
was
just put it that way.
because they found out the Saints were interested in Terrence Marshall Jr., so they jumped up to go get him.
So
You
they
remember
can't
that?
even draft it. They can't even scout their own damn self, right?
And
No,
then
you're
what-
right. We have
what
not
was
been a
Terrence-
good scouting team forever, man.
So now, but hold
Go ahead.
on. But wasn't Terrence Marshall Jr. hurt too? He was injury prone. He needed to have surgery
Yes.
as well.
Yeah, he was.
Yep.
Yeah, he sat for the whole year. We did the same thing. With a running back. Because
Okay, wait.
who wanted Jonathan Brooks?
wait.
Here
Hold
you
on.
go with
Let
the
me
cap.
finish. Let me
Here
finish.
you
Let
go.
me finish. This ain't cap. These are facts. They heard that the Cowboys wanted him, so they moved back up
This
to
is
go
true.
get Jonathan Brooks.
This is
Right,
true.
they
This is
moved up?
true.
They
So
moved
where's this cap? Yes, we moved up to go get him.
Oh.
So where am I capping
Can I
at?
say something?
And guess what? He
Can I
was
say
injured.
So
Hold on, man. Let me finish. This is history showing you
How you gonna
that when
ask a
we are
question
sitting here
still not be
drafting hurt.
finished?
It's bad processing. It's bad process all around. I agree with Papa.
This has not been working for us. For one, trying to be smarter than other organizations, other than scouting our own guys and drafting hurt players. I just gave you two examples of two guys.
It seems that this organization is only good in the first round, but the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, we
Awful.
screw up.
So
all
hold
the
on
time.
before we go
Can't
any
even get on the
further.
field.
Yeah, before we go any further, let me get two more people in on the convo. Two more people to add into the show. First up, we got Corey on the free for all. Corey, what's up, dude?
What's going on, fellas? Can y'all hear me all right? I'm driving through rural Georgia right now, so I don't know if the connection.
Yeah, we hear you good.
No, you're good,
Sounds
man.
good,
Loud,
man.
loud and clear, man. Welcome
All
to
right,
the free for all.
perfect.
Talk to me, man.
Appreciate you. Yeah, so I picked a good time to come on because I've been wanting to talk about the draft, with y'all for a minute. With the
Yes,
Jonathan
sir.
Brooks thing, I'll go ahead and say this. Terrace Marshall, I don't really remember the Terrace Marshall, coming out of school. I don't really know his injury history. I do remember the whole thing about New Orleans wanting him and us jumping up to get him. So that's definitely valid. Jonathan Brooks, first of all, everybody knew that Dallas wanted Jonathan Brooks. Jerry Jones couldn't hold a bucket of water. Everybody knew that, so I don't necessarily think we were jumping up to get him ahead of the Cowboys. I think we needed a playmaker, and he was the best running back in the draft. But here's the thing with Jonathan Brooks, man. I think we're using a lot of revisionist history when it comes to him because, yes, he tore his ACL in college, but we know that he tore his ACL again in the league. But before knowing that, you can't necessarily peg somebody as injury prone because everybody's body is different, right? CMC, we can kind of say that he's had that career, but when somebody tears their ACL in college, that's not necessarily an indicator that they're going to struggle with injuries for the remainder of their career. Let's say Jonathan Brooks came back for the last 6 games of the season and had an 85-yard rushing game and another one where he rushed for 65 yards and didn't tear his ACL. Would any of y'all be saying that we wasted a pick on a second-round injured running back? No, it's only because he's now proving to be injury prone. But we can't necessarily say that with somebody coming out of school and when he's RB1 of the draft and he necessarily only fell to the second round because he tore his ACL. I just think it's a little bit revisionist history when it comes to that because you can kind of say that now, but an ACL is not a career ender. It's not the first time somebody's come into the NFL already having some kind of injury. Joe Burrow came in with a fucking torn ACL before. Like it's you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things you don't really know until you know.
Yeah, and let me add on to that real quick too. That Trey Smith, who was a guard for the Kansas City Chiefs, he fell to the 6th round because everybody said that he had health issues, and a lot to the point where teams took him off the board. So you realize that the draft, you're gambling. You're gambling. You don't know for sure that these injuries, if a player was hurt coming into the NFL, you don't know for sure that he's going to stay injured and stay hurt. But, you also don't know if the injuries are overblown and maybe he is someone that would be an incredibly meaningful player. If you looked at Jonathan Brooks' film, it's easy to see why Carolina felt that he would be a really good runner behind Corbett, Hunt, and Lewis. So on that front, I don't blame them, but I do think that there is some truth to be said, though, that when they drafted Jonathan Brooks, they knew about his injury. They still took him anyway, and they still decided to play him this year instead of giving him an entire year and offseason to be ready to hit the ground running in 2025. I don't blame them for making the pick, but if you're going to, don't play him last year. Let him be healthy and let him get back to 100%. And then see what you have.
They drafted him
That's
because
the
they
revisionist
felt like he was
part for
going
me.
to be the starter. They thought that he was going to take Chuba's job. That's why I was holding out. He had to sit a while before that, but he had like a 21-day window where he had to get off of injured reserve, and they wanted to see what they got before they paid Chuba. I think they were going to let go of Chuba. Jonathan Brooks showed something, and they would have just kept Miles Sanders. But my thing is, though, if all of us was in that draft room, if all of us were GMs, we were all sitting together at the C3 Free for All Friday, and we had to take a vote on a hamstring injured running back at that time at our second round pick, or do we go get a day one starter in another position of need? A running back wasn't a position of need at the second round. I don't care what nobody says.
I agree.
But here's the thing, though. If you feel like you're drafting a game
It
changer
is
running
though. It is when you're exactly what that man said. He said when you not just you think you're getting a game changer running back. It is when we all know positional value is quarterback is one. So you know what that means? That means you make his job easier and you make his life easier as much as possible, especially when he struggled as much as he did in the first year, man. Like that's why we had to get the offensive lineman. We had to get another running back. That hold on, can we mute whoever that is?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's Corey. He's got some
All right, thank you,
windows.
Cody.
I just think getting a wide receiver
you
helps way
you
more.
got to get playmakers and you got to make this offense actually useful to know what you have with your quarterback too. It wasn't just that we were overvaluing running back. It's about the quarterback too on top of that. So that's why you have to prioritize some of these other positions more.
But did
Because
we
that was the
Hey,
requirement.
wait, hold on. Hold on, time out. I've had somebody who's been waiting here for a long time. Let them get in. A long time C3 faithful. We got our buddy Noah back on the free for all. Noah, what's up, dude?
What's up, Cody?
How you living, bro?
I'm doing good. You?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to have you back on the free for all, man. Tell me, jump in on this conversation, man. I know you've been here listening.
Yeah.
Jonathan Brooks to T. Higgins, whatever you want to talk about, man.
Jonathan Brooks, when we drafted him, we knew that he was injured. He was coming in as an injured running back, and we knew what we was going to get ourselves into. I don't like Cody said. I don't think that we should have played him. We should have played him last season because when you injure your ACL, you're prone to getting injured again. That's just a number one fact. But as last year draft, I don't feel like running back was a necessary key point that we needed, and with our second round pick. My personally thing, because I feel like Chuba and Miles Sanders, I feel like that was a decent enough to get us through the season. That's what my take on it. So
okay. No, I agree with you. I mean, for the most part, I do think Chuba and Sanders would have been enough. Hey, Noah, what do you think about
Can I ask you a question, Cody, though?
Yeah, go ahead.
You remember when Steve Wilkes said this to the guys in the locker room? He said, if you got drafted in the first, second, or third round, you need to act like you were a starter. You're supposed to play as if you're going to be a starter.
Yeah.
Why are we not drafting guys to be starters? Seriously. Not to sit here and put you on a bench to sit here and wait for you to get healthy. I'm tired of that
I know it.
That serviceable excuse. We don't have time to wait for you to get healthy and land CMC Main Hospital.
And you know what? I'm also tired of.
We need playmakers right now.
And this is going to be another topic, Cody. This hometown discount of being the hometown story because we have two pass rushers.
Yeah, it
you know
doesn't
what I'm
exist.
talking about. That's another topic that we're going to get to about James Pierce Jr., or who I like to call Brian Burns 2.0.
Hey, I coined that.
You did.
Go ahead.
Coin by pickle. And
I can't wait to talk about
Walker,
this.
who's all over the place, jack of all trades, but master of none. But people are talking him. Oh, yes, Walker, the guy from Salisbury.
Oh, you said Jalen Walker?
Yeah, what's up with
Yeah,
all, what's up with all
Jalen
the
Walker.
SC players, man? Like,
We need to stop thinking about people who are close by here and take people who are just going to make the Carolina Panthers better. I'm tired of the story, the hometown story. I know Salisbury, North Carolina. I know Charlotte, the people here. Let's take Mason Graham. There's better than both of them.
Well, you know what? What I've been saying about the edge rushers. Well, listen, this is what I'm saying about the edge rushers. Both of the Georgia guys, like to me, Abdul Carter is worthy of the 8th overall pick, and to me, Mason Graham
is the question.
Right, that's the question for both of them, for Abdul Carter and Mason Graham. Most mock drafts have Mason Graham going to either the Jaguars at 5 or the Panthers at number 8. Abdul Carter also is dealing with a shoulder injury. He that might have him drop a little bit, but I feel like for the most part, analysts agree that Carter is probably the belle of the ball at the edge position. So my thing is this. If you look at the Georgia guys, you're drafting them for their physical upside and what they might be one day. If you look at their numbers, both of those dudes don't have numbers that would typically indicate them being a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, man. That's
Cody.
why, to me, even if you did like one of those dudes, man, trade back to get them.
Exactly.
Don't draft them at
Is
8,
it-
trade back some.
Get some draft
Is it
capital
just
back.
me? Or
Right,
is
that's what I'm
do y'all
saying.
get tired of this whole drafting players on just like their physical overall athletic
Yes, I'm
abilities?
tired of
Yes,
And like
bullshit.
y'all
I
want more
agree.
football, like what?
I-
Oh my god, I've been saying the word. You want more football refined players who actually have skill sets and capabilities, and they're actually like better at playing the game with better football
They
IQ
say
rather than
Jalen
just
Walker. They
good ass athletes.
If you're drafting at 8, you shouldn't be drafting purely on potential. You should still be getting a damn near blue chip prospect.
Right.
Yeah,
You
Now,
should have
if
a
you're talking about
guaranteed
15
dude.
through 20, maybe you can draft a high floor, low ceiling guy, or you can draft
Yeah.
somebody who's a high potential, not all the way there guy. But if you're top 10,
Cody.
nah, give me somebody who balled the fuck out in college.
Yes, Cody. This is what they say about Jalen Walker. He doesn't know how to rush the passer, so he doesn't even have pass rush moves in his repertoire.
Yeah, he's raw.
He's raw.
He's raw.
And
He's
they
not
say-
going to be a meaningful
Yes.
contributor year one.
Exactly. And they say about what they say about the guy from Tennessee, Pierce.
Yeah, they
not
also said that
productive.
he needs a lot
not
of work.
productive. And
Takes
does
plays
not
off.
take plays off and is not good against the run, but very fast. Who does that remind you of? That's going to be a cheap Brian Burns.
They also
Yeah,
say that Pierce has
well,
a
I think
has
they
a bad
compared him to
attitude.
Brian Burns today. When I
Yeah.
watched
Oh,
it.
let's
graphic up with both of them.
Yeah,
right up there.
I'm a Tennessee fan, and I've been watching Pierce
He's
play
gonna
all
be better than
couple
Burns.
years, and I compared him to Brian Burns just because I call
did
Brian
too.
Burns lazy, and maybe that's wrong terminology, but that's what I call it. He doesn't play hard every snap. He doesn't play hard most snaps to me. Now, like I said, I told Cody earlier, and I've said this before. I think he's got elite talent. If he put it all together and he tried real hard,
Yes.
I believe he could have been the first overall guy
agree.
without question.
He was my
But-
first overall before the year started.
Yeah, but he
You was
just not.
tripping.
He just not. He doesn't want to try.
Didn't they
He doesn't
say?
want to try that hard.
Didn't they say
Now-
Jalen Walker doesn't have bend? They said some pass rusher doesn't have bend.
But
Nah, that's
listen.
James Pierce. He ain't got no bang.
Yeah, he has no bend.
yeah.
James Pierce has no bend.
Yeah,
That's why. That's why sometimes
I like Jalen Walker.
Did y'all watch the combine? He got
He do got big.
James Pierce does not play with bang.
James
Come on,
Pierce?
man. He be rushing the
I don't
quarterback
know if
standing
it's James.
straight up.
Look, I don't know if it's James Pierce, but they said a pass rusher either Walker did not have been. I don't know who it was, but they said
I tell you who it was. I tell you who it was. It was.
I think it was a South Carolina guy.
Hey, but are y'all seeing what I'm saying to y'all though?
Yeah, but all these guys
outside of Abdul Carter, none of these edge rushers are like can't miss, have to have right now prospects.
None of them are. Nobody in the top 10 is a can't miss prospect. But maybe Abdullah Carter, maybe.
That's
None of them. None of them. Now, that being said, I've listened to XM Radio all week, and they have literally interviewed every single person in the top 20, every one of them. These players, by and large, you might have one or two people not do this. By and large, they're hurt or they're banged up, and they all blame the playoffs, the college football playoffs, and none of them are very rarely want to be at the combine, and some of them isn't even going to work out at their pro day.
I'll help you out. Or they don't have stats. That guy from Texas A&M only had 4.5 sacks in 3 years. Hell no.
Yeah, but that's my point though. A lot of these guys are going to be drafted because of a desperate team, and they're there. And if we can hope like hell, we're going to see. I think the coaches and Dan, I think they're trying to sell some of these boys, so people come up and get those picks. These are like salesmen. If you hear Dan or you hear Dave talk, when they're asked about a particular player, they're like selling that player to everybody. And they're not selling it to the fans. They're not selling to Cody. They're selling to the
You know what I
other
think is going to happen, Pickle? You know what I think is going to happen? If Mason Graham, Pickle, this is what's going to happen. If Mason Graham falls to them, it's going to be like Usain Bolt running to the podium
I was
with
just
that
about
card.
to say that, bro. If Mason Graham falls to 8, they need to break their fucking ankles running to the podium.
Yes. If Mason Graham is gone,
y'all have to keep your fingers crossed. You better hope that
I don't think Mason Graham can be there.
Do Carter falls, because like I agree with Cody. I don't see a lot of guys that you just desperately have to have. I really don't. I do agree with Pickle as far as James Pierce having an elite trait. He does.
To be honest, from my perspective on it,
He
I feel
does.
like if James, I feel like Abdul Carter or
JJ,
Mason Graham
you
is not
want to
there.
start trouble.
Wait. Is he not a blue chip player though? That's
Hold on.
fine.
Can I pose a question?
Yeah, he's a blue
First
chip
of all,
player.
First of all, Genty, that's a no. We can't draft Genty when we still got all these other running backs on our end. That's just not. It can't happen.
I won't complain.
But I agree with what y'all are saying with everybody, outside of Abdul Carter and Mason Graham, and those are going to be projects, right? But I don't think, and I think this is kind of like a hot topic in Panthers Nation right now, but we don't necessarily have to go edge rusher or defender. Listen, the defense is terrible. I know we gave the most points ever. But we're, like somebody said before, we're not Super Bowl contenders going into next year anyway. If you can get a blue chip like Ted or somebody like that, that's still going to be somebody who's going to help out the team, even if it's not the quote-unquote number one need right now.
Trade back.
Trade back.
Fine, trade back.
Trade
Trade back. But I'm not even
gotta have a partner.
trade back if you can still get somebody who you think can be
there's always a partner.
like a Ted McMillan.
There's always a partner. There's always a partner.
But
Everyone
I don't
wants
even.
to chop
If
on
you
the
can
bit.
still, if you can still get somebody,
There's always a partner
like
if you're gonna get
without trading
finessed.
back, go
Hell
ahead and
yeah.
get an elite player.
But guys, so like, did y'all now see why I'm saying I don't think the Panthers pick at 8? Like, I'm calling my shot now.
I think they're trading back. I think
Cody,
they're
I'm
trading
with you.
back.
I'll make
Carolina
that bet.
Panthers
Actually, I'm gonna make a bet.
Are not going to pick at number 8.
If Mason
Also,
Graham is not there, they're not picking an 8. They're not picking an 8.
Dude, I'm being real. Even if Graham is there, as much as I would love him, I still don't.
I'm not with you on that, Cody.
Listen. I'm Chuck. I'm with you, bro. Mason Graham is my number one prospect for the Panthers at 8 right now. But what I'm saying is, if you traded back, it opens up edge rusher to you, and it's not an overdraft. But there's a lot of defensive linemen, a lot of one techs that are going to be able to slot next to Derek Brown that are going to be in the draft. How about this? We have no safeties on the roster. I would much rather grab a Malachi Starks at 12 or 13 than take him
Yeah.
in the top 10.
It's
You know what I'm saying? There's more options.
You don't need to go get a safety in the first round. Just play the good
No, I
safeties.
agree, but I'm just saying that all these other options make more sense in the teens opposed to the top 10.
Does anyone even like Mike Green? Does anyone like Mike Green?
Yeah, I do a lot, but he has a lot of off the field issues now.
I don't mind Mike.
Yeah, I like Mike Green, but his stock gonna drop.
Yeah, they say he has 2 sexual assaults.
To me, he's not a first.
He gonna drop the second round.
Oh damn!
His
Like
arms
that?
are too small.
Yeah,
His
one
arms
of
are
them
too
in-
small.
One of them.
not- I'm
No,
not
hold
sure.
on.
Cases?
Hold on, time out. It's
Damn.
not even.
That's just the
Dude,
accusations.
it's not even the measurables. To
Damn.
me, I think that he can overcome the measurables. If you look at his film, the dude's awesome. However, he has an accusation from high school and college that teams are going to have to sort through if they want to
Damn.
draft him or not.
Their
I did
prediction
not
to
realize he's a
drop down
sex
to early
offender.
second round.
That is
Well,
wild.
well, hold on, time out. He's an alleged sex offender.
Alleged.
Alleged.
Yeah,
I
they-
ain't
because
gonna lie.
by this
Yeah,
by
yeah,
now,
yeah.
If you got
by now,
two allegations,
Hey,
JJ,
Cody,
JJ,
Cody,
hold on,
Cody.
JJ, what you gotta
Hey,
understand
Oh, too many people talking.
he's
Too
on
many
his
people
you gotta
Big
talking.
Ben
understand
One at a
is
time,
that
hold on.
fault.
is that
Hey,
when
he's
you
on his
have
Big
these
Ben
situations like
Roethlisberger.
what he
That's my
got going
fault.
on,
That's my fault.
Go ahead, Pop.
JJ, what you gotta understand with this situation, what he's
What's
got
up?
going on, you
What's
have to
up?
ask if it happened in high school, why haven't any charges been pressed? If it happened in 2019 or 2022 and it's 2025, why haven't it been, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, I know.
brought up?
I
You know what
know.
I'm saying?
They be
So
capping. They be
in
capping.
Virginia Tech, but they asked Virginia Tech and they said they won't peep a single word. So I'm questioning that too. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't call, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
He's
Yeah,
but he's
allegedly.
definitely ain't no alleged. That's the law. That's supposed to be the law. At least that's what
Well,
one
hold on.
that I'll raise.
Okay,
No,
but we're
he's
talking about
allegedly
you're
a
talking about
sex
the law
offender, man.
versus.
But yeah,
We're talking about the law versus people's, you know what I'm saying, conscience or whatever. If you're talking about pressing charges, these are sensitive matters. There's always a case by case basis of why charges may or not be pressed. I'm thinking if you got
I
allegations,
Oh,
understand
popping,
that.
popping,
me personally,
I
I'm talking about me
understand.
myself personally.
I thought it was very questionable that Deshaun Watson's cases came out like immediately after he requested a trade from Houston. Like, I was like, oh yeah, now these cases
All that
come out.
guaranteed money. Yeah,
But
and then when
Yeah.
they find out about that
sometimes these
guaranteed
people are
money, he's gonna
saying
get.
stuff and nobody's listening, bro. Sometimes people will be saying shit for years and nobody listens until people decide to listen. Me personally, if you got allegations from one part of your life in high school and then another part of your life in college, 2 different times at 2 different periods, I'm not touching you.
Yeah,
That's me.
what's that saying? Hold on. What's
It was a good
that
phone. That's all I
saying?
can say.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. I think that's what some people say. But also, like I said, I also know how some of these females can be. So you have to sort of wait to see
Yeah.
Yeah, they held Zeke his
where the
rookie,
truth
his second
is.
year.
But what would somebody get? What would somebody get with this shit coming out before he even gets drafted? My boy ain't even got an NFL contract yet. What would somebody get out of these accusations?
They
Pre-draft?
Money,
Well, hold on.
witnesses.
I'm gonna let Pickle
This
go.
has happened before. This
Yeah.
has happened before. Look, a few years ago with Carter. He was supposed to be real high, dropped out. There's a guy over there, he used to be with the Cowboys, play a few other teams. Offensive lineman Collins. Very high draft pick.
Yeah.
Very
No,
high
but
draft pick.
Collins was
And come
cleared
up.
though. His
Who?
name was
Yeah,
cleared. He was
yes. After,
but where's he at now?
yes, but
no,
my
wait,
point,
that's a false equivalency, bro.
Are you
right,
talking about
my
Landon Collins?
Collins
yeah,
was a person of interest in a
Lil,
murder
however you
suspect.
say that
Hold
shit.
on,
yes,
Cleared of
yes,
being a person of interest in a murder.
hang on.
Lyle
My point,
Collins.
my point about Collins. I'm not disputing anything about the charges. I'm saying my point was it happened. He was wanted to be questioned about it, or the police wanted to question, as you said, a person of interest. All of a sudden, they said don't draft him, and teams were going to be punished if they drafted him, and his agent said nobody better draft him after the first round. So he fell completely out of the draft, and then ended up signing a free agent deal with Cowboys. So, this stuff happens a lot, and I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of this stuff is force fed by teams wanting him to drop. A lot of this
That's
is
what I'm
we
saying.
fed
Making
into
shit
the
up.
You're right,
conversation
Cookie.
by teams wanting him to drop. Eagles, for example,
So
if the Eagles say we can let this guy and this guy walk and get that guy at pick 32, they could
Yeah,
spread
they
all
would
that
be,
BS,
and by the
or
way,
we spread it just get him to
we
drop.
also think that they did that to CJ Stroud with the whole
Right.
SQ test bullshit. Let me
Yeah,
read
that's
this.
what they did.
Yeah, let me
Yeah,
read
but
the
Them
super chat.
fuckers.
Hey, let
I'll
me read the
forever hate them
let me
fuckers.
read out the super chat real quick. Stonewall with the 499. Appreciate you, bro. Says coaching makes a big difference. Linebackers are important in a 3-4. They are the edge rushers, no doubt,
Yes, they
man.
are appointed, but I don't want Walker, who just goes all across the field and just learn how to pass rush in the last portion of the season. I don't want that on my team as the 8th pick. Sure,
No,
a
I hear
third
you.
round pick, fine.
But
No,
I
I
tell you
hear
who
you.
I
I
do
hear
want.
you.
I want that guy from the Gamecocks, Nick
There
Amorati.
you go.
Oh my
Yeah.
There
So
you
speaking
go.
of which,
he
hey, you
ran
know that
forward.
if we're gonna talk about Gamecock players,
Go ahead,
we
put
gotta
my.
we gotta do it with that boy White Chocolate Espresso. What up, brother?
What up, bro? Put up my picture.
Man, what
He
type
said,
of
"Put up
lame?
my
I could
picture."
be
What
on
type
my.
of
Listen,
nobody can
I
even see
could
that
be on
lame
my
shit,
bed.
bro. Ain't nobody can even
listen,
see that shit.
Yeah, Joshua Simon ran the second fastest 40 for tight
listen,
ends.
White Chocolate. This my only problem ever wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big
I had a
problem.
safety. We had a safety here. Not saying he was as athletic. Not saying that, but he had some of the same measurements as far as 6'2", 220, and he sat on the bench.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That's
Man,
what we
Jeremy
should have known
Chin
right
is
now.
whack, bro. I don't know why y'all praise him.
He was great last year.
He he was great.
Hey, I
Yeah,
like that.
I
I like the
he was
CJ Ainley
not great.
comment.
He
If
was
Mason
cool.
Graham and Abdul Carter are off the board, take Tyler Warden.
Ooh, let me ask
Take
y'all
Tyler Warner.
boys.
You
Let
said
me
that
Yeah,
ask
shit
y'all
way
boys.
earlier.
Look.
that's
Let
another
me
blue chip.
hold on. Let me pose this question to everybody. So to those who watch on Tuesday, Tony Dunn, shout out the professor. He loathes the idea of not even taking
Same.
a tight end in the top 10, but taking a tight end in the first round in general. However, our own Dave Canales has given a lot of love to a player that everyone is already saying is this year's Brock Bowers, the 6'6", 265-pound Tyler Warren. Would you be willing to give Bryce a big
Hey,
body tight end weapon
hey,
Absolutely.
Cody.
that can
Hey,
That was
catch
Cody.
the
straight
ball
back
Oh my
right there.
god.
No, go get
That was
and
Joshua
straight back.
Simon.
hold
Oh
up
my god.
and he's a run blocker unlike you've never seen.
Hey,
Would you draft Tyler
Oh my
Warren with
god.
the
I've
number 8th overall
I've
Go
pick?
get
said this.
Joshua
Hey,
Simon.
Oh my
black
god.
QBs and white
Bounce
tight
it
ends
out.
never fail.
Give me the
Black
block.
QBs and white tight
Keep
ends never
going. Oh
fail.
my god.
They never fail.
So
He just
look,
outran the safety.
a lot of dudes are
Jesus.
comparing him to Gronk. They're saying this might be another Gronk.
Relax,
You
relax.
know
He's
what?
not
Oh,
Gronk,
wait,
but he's a
I
Let me
great
know.
ask the
I'm
player.
chat.
just
Let me ask the
saying.
chat. Cody, let me ask the chat. Let's just say we do free agency defense and all the holes are filled and you take Tyler Warren.
That's
Will
not
you be
gonna happen.
happy?
That was a great block.
I do
Like,
that
come
shit,
on.
Chuck. Fuck it. I
Nah.
would take. I
Yo,
would
look at
take
my
Tyler
boy
Warner.
on the line, run blocking
We
like a
need blue
beast.
chip
Absolutely would.
players. Blue chip players.
Look at
I
my
was just
man.
about. I was just about to say that. I
Nah,
think
man. I could
getting
get.
him
Taylor's a
to
Red
blue
be
zone
chip
threat.
a
You
player.
can
day
do
one
so
When
much
you
starter.
with
have
him, dude.
no, let me
Wait,
listen,
I
Chuck.
would go
listen.
get Hurts.
Chuck, you
Or
don't think
Hurts.
Tyler Warren's a blue chip player?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying when you have a top 10 pick, miss me with Jalen Walker, miss me with James Pierce, miss me from that guy Stewart from Texas A&M who only has 4.5 sacks in 3 years.
Oh, you're
It's
talking about
Mason
Shamar
Graham.
Stewart.
Shamar Stewart. If it's Mason Graham, Abdul Carter, or Tyler Warren, if it's not any of those three, trade back.
I'll trade back
Y'all don't
even if
fuck
the
with
tight
Ted at
end's on the
8.
board.
Nobody's fucking with Ted at 8.
I'll
Maybe,
trade back and
Yeah,
still take Kenneth
I
Grant
take
at 12.
Ted.
maybe Ted will be the fourth choice.
Kenneth Grant, bro. I'll take Kenneth Grant. I'm telling you. Kenneth
Hell
Grant's a
no.
beast.
Not at 8.
At 8,
What?
Not an 8.
Not at 8.
Who?
I
I'll
said
Trade
if
trade
we
back.
back.
I'll
move
trade
back.
back. I'll trade back.
I said I would take him at
Oh,
12.
okay.
I said
Oh
if we
yeah,
move back, I would
yeah.
take Kenneth Grant at 12.
12.
I'm
But
taking
here's
Joshua
my
Simon.
philosophy when it comes to things like this.
Who is
If
that,
you
Kevin?
if you
He ran the
truly
Who
think
has
second
that?
highest 40 for tight
if
ends.
you truly think that you're getting a blue chip player and you think you can get him at 12, but you can get him at 8, why not just get him at 8? He's going to be on your team anyway. If you think he's going
No,
to
but
be,
I
he's
would
not
take
a
him at
blue
8 too,
chip.
though. I would take him at
Oh
8.
my God, you don't do
Kevin
that in
Grant.
the
You said
draft, though.
you
All
said
right,
he
hold on,
ran
wait,
a
time out,
fast.
time out, time out,
if you saying
You
time
said he
out.
ran a
if you're
fast
saying you would
40.
take Warren,
Man, football not a straight line though.
I'm not taking Warren at 8.
So what people are not
Tripping.
understanding, because I don't think a
that's
lot of
what I'm
people that
saying.
sat here and
If you
watched
saying
him
you
and
won't
Brett
take him
tape.
at 8, but you would take him at 12, I don't really
I wouldn't
understand
take him
that.
at 12
Yeah,
either, actually.
I'll take him at either. Listen. I'll rebuttal my statement or retract my statement. I'll take him at both 8 or 12, because what he did, he helped Mason Graham so much. He picks up the double team. He's your zero tech guy. He's your nose tackle that we don't have.
so
He's
he's
6'4",
your star
345,
two. He's your star two.
345 pounds. He's a day one starting on the line. You have Derek Brown on one side, Kenneth Grant in the middle, and whoever you want, Ashawn Robinson on the right. You're stopping the run. You're stopping the run immediately.
I
Yeah,
understand.
but Derek Brown has yet to
Then I'll
show.
go get
Show to be an
What do you think
elite
about linebacker?
I'll go
high
get
end
Landon
pass
Jackson
rusher.
on my second round pick.
Hey, wait, hold on. Let me bounce it around a little bit. Let me get hold on. Let me bounce it around. Let me get these and then Noah. These are skills. I still got you.
Yeah, man.
After that.
Yeah, man. What do you think about Tyler Warren with the 8th overall pick, bro?
Oh, I never thought you'd ask. I'm so happy you did. One of the things that hurt us last year for the Carolina Panthers, we didn't have a solid number 2 running back position. Like we saw at the end of the year in the final game, especially where Miles Sanders could be effective at that second running back position. And often we ran in the pistol with 2 running backs in the backfield. So look, pass blocking is important in that backfield for Dave Canales. I feel like a guy like Tyler Warren could come in and immediately attribute, at least in that manner, these other plays you see outside his blocking ability, where he can run the football or play the H-back position, but also work in the Dave Canales system. I don't know if he's willing to do those things and make those changes within his offense to make him a feature back or a part of this or a feature player of this offense. But let me tell you this, the New Orleans Saints are selecting at number 9. If you pass at Tyler Warren or Mason Graham at number 8, you're basically giving a fantastic, impossible franchise player to the New Orleans Saints for years and years to come. These are thoughts that the Carolina Panthers need to think about before they trade back and give up a player like Mason Graham or Tyler Warren to a division foe like the Saints.
And hey, look, before I let Noah go, y'all look at this. Are y'all going to tell me this isn't the coldest shit you've seen? Oh! He said, get that lame shit off me, bruh.
I'm telling you.
Oh.
I'm telling you.
Oh.
You know who's going to be the one if Tyler Warren
Yeah,
gets
it's this one right here, Cody.
he's going to be the
Big
number.
body on him, bro.
Little boy, that man.
Big body on him.
That's a blue
Let's
chip,
go.
man. That's a blue
Hey,
chip, bro.
look, Tony might have to be upset. Tony might just have to be upset, y'all. Noah, let me go to Noah. Noah, would you spend the 8th overall pick on Tyler Warren, a tight end?
Yes, because I don't think Tommy Tremble is gonna be here next year.
True.
So
or Ian Thomas, Noah.
Or Ian Thomas. We benched a guy Ian Thomas up here. He survived too many coaches, so he should have been up out here. But yes, so we're gonna need to get a tight end depth in that tight end room. But I don't think Mason Graham is gonna be there at 8. I think he's gonna go to the Jaguars for them.
That's fair.
So
Yeah.
that's
so,
that's just they're already saying he's going there. So I'm not gonna put my money on there. But I think Abdul Carter might fall. I hope he does. I need him to fall.
See, I sort of think Graham might fall a little more than Carter would, just because the film for Carter, it's like I just don't think they're gonna take the shoulder injury. Like apparently he's gonna be back for OTA.
Neither of them are falling.
Yeah, I really don't know if either of them are falling.
Cody,
but
if you listen,
how about this, Chuck, and then I'll let you go.
Sure.
If Mason Graham is my number 1 at number 8, Tyler Warren might be number 2, bro.
I'm with you on that.
I can't even front. I can't even front, man.
Cody,
look at him. This dude ran away from him.
If you listen to Dan Morgan,
but we need tight end depth.
If you listen to Dan Morgan and Brandon Tillis and Dave Canales, They said from their mouth, they said they're going to do the same thing they did to the offensive line the last year to the defensive line this year. What does that mean? The free agency is going to be on that defensive line.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised and I won't be shocked if basically in the sense that we get an Eagles pass rusher, we get another defensive tackle, we get another safety in free agency. And I feel like Dan and Brandon Tellers are really just trying to get someone to trade up to get one of those pass rusher. I really do feel like in the sense where they're trying to trade down, but if they don't trade down, I think Tyler Warren's the pick, man. I think it's Mason. I think if Mason gets picked up at 5, I think Tyler Warren's going to be the pick.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. I don't know that he would be. I'm just saying I'm not going to be mad at it like a lot of people would.
I don't believe Dan is going to waste their pick on James Pierce and projects. I don't think it's going to be projects, man.
No, I hear you. If we don't address defense in free agency, then picking any offensive player at number 8 is going to look wild.
It can't be projects. Wait a minute. It can't be projects because Evero is 1 year left. So why would you get a project on a 1 year left defensive coordinator? That doesn't make any sense. So it can't be.
But what about linebacker with Shaq Thompson not coming back? What do you think we should go on with there? You think we should get him second round?
I think that's free agency.
Free.
Well, but y'all remember, that we don't have a high second round pick. So this is why I'm in favor. Trade back, man.
Yeah.
Trade back. How about this? If Graham and Warren are both available, you can take either one of them, but I might still trade back.
No, man.
Bro, we have so many holes on this
You're
defense.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. Like what Noah just asked. Shaq Thompson's gone. They like Trevor Wallace, but they're gonna need to draft more linebacker help at some point. That room is very thin. We have no safeties on the roster. We need another corner. We have to pay J.C. Horn, and we have to pay.
No, we got one safety. We got one safety.
Man, in my opinion, take positional value out of
it. Worth it down.
Mason Graham is a can't miss prospect. If we trade back, if he's there, we trade back 5 years from now, we're gonna be fucking kicking ourselves for not taking the guy that was there right in our hands. That's my opinion.
Okay.
That's
fair.
Opinion.
That's fair. And bro, I think Mason Graham, he's the cure for everything that ails us right now. The Panthers have not been able to stop the run in 5 years? Like, you
why are we talking about
dude. You need a dude, but that's why he's my number 1. Mason Graham is my number 1. And I'm just saying, man, unless we just neglect the defense and free agency, I wouldn't mind that, man. Knowing the type of weapon that it would be for Bryce, I wouldn't mind it. But at the same time, that's not my preferred move. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm just being straight up honest with you, bro. I mean, we all wishing upon a star. We hope that they can trade back if certain players ain't gonna be there, and we're hoping that they go on free agent and find some talent. I just don't think they're gonna make any big major splashes. Period. I believe it's a lot of smoke screens that they're throwing out there right now. There's a lot of bait that they're throwing out there right now. I just don't see them going out here. I think they're going to get some plug-in guys like they did last year, sign them to 1 or 2 year deals until the year after. I do not see any major contribution coming from anybody out of free agent this year. I hope y'all not getting your hopes up high. I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer. I'm just saying, I just don't think they're going to put themselves, whether y'all feel like it's not a financial issue or it is a financial issue, I don't not see them doing that. I just don't. And then not only that, a lot of these free agent guys that are available on defense, a lot of these free agent guys that are available on defense are old.
Yeah.
Are old. This is not a great free agent class. There's one, it's like maybe 4, and these guys want top dollar. Just saying, guys, you just go research your.
How much cap space do we have? How much cap space do anybody know? How much cap space it is?
Right now we're at around 30 million.
$30 million.
in cap space, but we could potentially make more by signing J.C. Horn. You could take off some of the money that we'd be paying this year. Taylor Moton, if you re-signed him, you could do that. That's another question we don't know what they're gonna do.
Y'all think
Miles
Shot Turtle's out of
Sanders.
here?
Who?
Shot Turtle.
No.
No, you don't think that.
No, I mean, a lot of fans can't stand that dude now, but I just don't think that they're in the position to be letting a lot of dudes out of this team right now. But
He's
also,
still
you
gonna be
have
on the team.
you have Ashawn Robinson too, and I think they like Ashawn way more than they do Shy Tuttle.
Yeah.
But no, dude, and dude, shout out to
3. He's not a 3-4 guy.
shout out to our boy Sportsnut. He says Brock Bowers wishes he could block like Tyler Warren when he grows up. Oh shit. Shots fired. Dude, the versatility of a tight end in today's NFL, it's one of the best weapons that you can have when you have a premier tight end. But I digress. There was also rumors that J.C. Horn is probably going to be paid maybe sometime in the next couple of days. Do y'all think there's any validity behind this? Is J.C. Horn about to be paid big time by the Carolina Panthers?
Yes. They made it pretty clear that he's not going nowhere.
Yep.
And I mean, he did what he needed to do this past year. Stayed healthy, made a Pro Bowl, or was he a Pro Bowler? Should have been if he wasn't. He was. But I don't think there's any. That's shut and closed to me.
Can I ask y'all a crazy question? I haven't really heard about this. Been talked about too many other podcasts.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I know this is going to probably rub one coach the wrong way. But have y'all checked out how much it would cost to sign Jeremy Chin? You know, it's only $4 million to bring him back. Why not go bring him back? You say you need a safety. Why not bring Jeremy Chin back?
He don't want to come back here, bro.
Because we still got.
Hold on. But Cody,
He's not trying to
hold
come
on.
back
Hear me out,
here,
Cody. He ain't got no job.
I
play
mean,
where
bro,
the money is getting paid.
He ain't got no job for a reason.
If Ivero
No, he only
didn't want to
signed a
play
1-year deal. He had over 100 tackles.
I'm saying
he balled
if
out this year.
Ivero didn't want to play with Chin while he was here, what makes you think that he would suddenly change his mind on his capabilities now?
Well, that's hold on. We had Scott Fritter in the building at that time, so this is a different scenario.
Yeah, but still the same
This is
defensive coordinator, still the same guy
but
deploying him in the defense.
That's true, but if the player goes out here and showed that he has some worth, like Jeremy Chin did, did we not see? Go look at his stats, 100-something tackles.
But Evero saw Jeremy Chin's rookie year and still decided not to play him. So I mean, if he got a system, if he got what he thinks works, he's not going to bend on that for Jeremy Chin.
Evero wasn't here. Evero wasn't here. Jeremy Chin's rookie year.
I know, but I'm saying he still saw the talent. He would have coming in. He knew the talent that he had with Chin, or the rookie that he had, even if he wasn't here. He still decided not to play him. So Chin having having a good year in Washington isn't going to be like, oh shit, this guy's a good player. Like he didn't fit his scheme.
But this is my thing though. Dan Morgan said, I'm gonna get him players, and maybe Evero don't know how to actually evaluate players. I've been questioning Evero for this whole year. Maybe you don't know how to, because I thought, well, maybe Jeremy Chin maybe he's whack. Then I see him go play in a whole nother different scheme, and he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do.
He's still whack.
If I understand how you feel that way, but if Dan Morgan felt that Evero didn't know how to evaluate players, he wouldn't have brought him back. They still got faith in Evero, and we still got to say Jeremy Chin would again have to agree.
If they have faith in him, why is he only here for 1 year? And why wouldn't they extend him? I don't believe they have faith in him.
Yeah.
Well, because, bruh, you can't extend him after you just had the worst defense of all time. You could have got rid of him if you didn't have faith in him. The fact that he's still here means they have some kind of faith in him. They're not going to give him a contract extension.
You want me to throw you a crazy scenario? I'm going to throw you a crazy scenario. If he looks good this year, he'll go to another team. If he looks bad, he's off this team. So either way, you're still going to lose him.
Wait. You think we're going to lose J.C. Horn? Say that again, Pop.
I'm talking about Evero coaching. If Evero gets
I
into
don't
a
think.
top 15
Oh,
coaching,
okay,
right,
okay,
you're going
okay.
to
That
lose
makes more
Evero to
sense.
a different team because his contract is up. They didn't extend him. And if he's
Well, hold on.
bad, you're still
Not
going to lose him
necessarily.
because he's a bad
Still,
coach.
you can still extend him after this year, and he's not going to get head coaching looks after having one good defense. Like
Yeah.
it ain't a cut and dry thing. It's not black and white. He can still have a good year. We can bring him back.
If
It's
he
black to
hasn't,
me because of coming into this season, he was trying to get out of here. Y'all don't remember?
Yeah, he was.
no, I
trying to
do
go up out
remember.
of here.
Yeah, we stopped him from interviewing. So no, I know that he was trying to. Listen, I don't blame anybody for wanting to get out of here, bro. Like straight up, we have not been good, but he has been a part of the reason why we have not been good, in my opinion. Like when you don't stop the run 3 years in a row, like yeah, sorry, that's not all just on the players to me, man.
That's coaching.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot of coaching stuff that goes into it, a lot of culture stuff, fundamentals on tackling,
I
wrapping
just
up.
think Dan Morgan's going to take the power out of Evero's hand and find the best prospects for the 3-4 scheme. If he doesn't do nothing with it, then he's out of here.
I feel like he should because Evero's not going to be here next year. I'm just going to make this clear now. I don't think Evero's
Yeah.
going to be.
Thank you.
I don't think,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's chess, baby, not checkers.
because if Evero's not going to be here next year, I mean, get players. I feel like the GMs need to get players that's going to be good for the next defensive coordinator that's going to come here. Respectfully.
No, I
Well,
agree,
I
man.
feel you, bro. But if that's the case, they should have got rid of him after the year. I don't. If that's the case, then he wouldn't be here this year. They obviously you got to get players, but they're not gonna get players with the mindset of Giro's not gonna be here next year. Like if they didn't want him here, then he wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, and listen, I think they gave him the benefit of the doubt on how many people we lost in the offseason. We lost Brian Burns. We lost Jeremy Chin. We lost Frankie Luru. And by the way, I said this last year too. The objective for last offseason was to protect Bryce Young.
Right. They knew
That
what they were
is
doing.
what
They
they
sacrificed the
did.
defense to build up the offense.
Right, and that's another thing too. That's why I think they gave him that extra leeway because they knew that they were punting on defense in 2024. They knew that. We didn't expect it to get
So they
that
knew the
bad.
defense was going to suck. So why wouldn't you extend him knowing that, hey, we took away all your weapons?
Because it's not. You're making it black, bro. You're making it black and white. Just because they prioritize the offense and sacrifice the defense, they didn't think they were going to give up the most points of all time and have the absolute worst rushing defense in the entire league. So they can be like, all right, Zero, you got to show us something. We know that we didn't give you many players, and then players got hurt. So it's not all on you, but we're also not going to extend you because you have to show us something after we invest in the defense.
I still got a McFlurry.
Which they're going to do this offseason. So if he again sucks this year, they have it out.
So I take all your ingredients out your refrigerator, out your cabinets, and tell you to cook, knowing damn well that I sacrificed it just for the offense. And
Okay,
then
but
all of a
that
sudden I
doesn't
don't
mean
believe
they
in
were
you.
expecting to have the worst
Like,
defense
hold
in the
on,
league.
how are we gonna make this cake, baby? Because you done took the milk, the eggs, the flour, and you talking about, oh well, we still believe in you. I mean, what kind of business
I
plan is
hear
this
you,
we
Pop.
put out
You are
here?
not wrong, but
You're
I
making it
think the
black and
reason.
white,
Hold up.
dog.
I think the reason why you can't sign an extension though is that you're right. He didn't have the ingredients to make the meal, but you also haven't seen anything in 3 years to warrant giving him an extension. Like there's just not enough there to say, yeah, you're the future shot caller for the Panthers defense. I think there's just not enough to do
Cody,
that
you're
for
proving
him.
my
Can
point.
we
That's
be
why
real? Hold on.
that's
Can
why
we
I'm
be
saying
real for a second? Can we be
that's
real
why
for
I'm
a
saying he's
second?
not gonna be here. That's why I'm
Wait, can
saying
we
he
be
ain't
real
gonna
for?
be here,
Hold on,
Cody.
hold on.
Okay, I hear
2
you.
years
I hear you.
ago, 2 years ago, Bryce's rookie year, when the offense was inept and it looked terrible, and we didn't look like a real football team. How many times did we say the defense is doing enough to win us games, and the offense can't do shit? Right? How many times were we saying that? Then fast forward into last year, the
Yeah,
offense
but
was
that
looking
was
bad until it started
buffoonery.
looking
The
good, and
defense
then
was
the
still
defense.
trash.
The defense wasn't
Fine.
bad.
Call it trash if you want to, but they were doing enough to win us games. The offense was the reason that we were the worst team in the league, right?
That's
Then we
true.
lost key
true.
players. We lost Luvu. We lost Burns. We lost Chin. Shaq Thompson gets hurt. So we go into this season, we know that we don't have as many resources, but then players get hurt, and then we have the absolute worst defense, possibly the worst defense of all time. They weren't expecting that. They knew that the defense was going to be sacrificed, but they were not expecting to have one of the worst defenses of all time. They still like Evero. If they didn't, he wouldn't be here right now. But like Cody said, he has not shown you enough to be able to extend him without actually having a good defense.
Yeah, there's no justifiable grounds to offer him an
we all
extension.
know this year they are going to go after defense in free agency. We all know that. So
Derek
to your
Brown
point,
getting
bro,
hurt didn't help either.
Okay, but to your point, they're going to give him the milk. They're going to give him some eggs. They're going to give him some flour. And they say, all right, bro, if you make a mess in this kitchen again, you're out of here. It's that simple.
Yeah. This is the prove it year. But by the way, like, here's the deal. If they take a meaningful jump this year, yeah, I could see them wanting to bring back Evero. Like,
exactly.
That's a meaningful jump.
They like him. They like
that's
him.
not
but
far-fetched. Okay.
They can't keep putting out shit defense.
So that's a
but they
good
like
question,
Evero.
Kev.
What's a
what you
meaningful
asking?
jump? What's a meaningful jump?
All right, that's a perfect question. What is enough of a jump from a record perspective and a defensive performance perspective to warrant giving Evero an extension in 2026?
I mean, defense need to look great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. But I mean, are we talking like a top? Does it have to be a top 10 defense, Noah, in order for the Panthers to want to extend him? Or is it kind of what Pop was saying earlier, that no matter what, he's just not going to be here next year?
Can we just be a mid defense?
15.
Yeah, like a mid.
If he can get the 15th, he can stay.
Yeah.
All right, Cole says 15.
I mean, that's a hell of a jump, too.
Fuck them rankings. If he could just be competent situationally, then that's all I
That
need
shit
to see.
ain't gonna happen,
If you're
JJ. He's gonna have to go off the
exactly, like that's why he's out the door regardless, in my opinion. Just because he don't know what the fuck he doing in certain situations. Like,
I feel
even if
like
you get a few more ingredients, like you still gotta chef that shit up the proper way. And if you can't do that, like you gonna get exposed regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, dude, I'm not a fan of Evero, man. I'm not. But
I don't think a lot of people are.
No, I mean, no. When you give up the most points in NFL history, it's hard to defend. But then, like,
when you're putting Jordan Fuller on CD Lamb,
and that's why there's not going to be no defensive prospects. That doesn't make any sense.
Nobody.
That means you can't be drafting defensive prospects or projects. That makes no sense to draft projects if you're trying to help. If you're really trying to
gotta draft blue chips.
Yeah, you gotta draft blue chips.
They're gonna do both.
And then another thing is Kansas City Chiefs game. Last Patrick Mahomes run for 40 yards on a defense. That's ridiculous.
I mean, that's Patrick.
Patrick is not fast. He's not that fast.
No, he's not.
He's not fast, but he can.
He can get up there though.
But
does that to
he knows how
everyone,
to stop.
He's
He knows
an
how to
athlete.
stop at. He knows how to stop at the right time.
Yeah, you
to
really
get people
don't.
to miss.
Yeah, you really don't even need to be too fast. He's just sort of shifty, and he's not. He's an awkward runner too. But dude, he fucking makes it work. That's for damn sure. But I don't know, man. Like thinking about this defense next year, to me, it's hard to imagine what would have to happen in order for the Panthers to think of Evero as the guy to lead this team going forward.
I think they're hoping.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I think
That's
they're
what I'm
hoping for
saying.
Derek Brown to come back and change a
Well,
lot.
if they get better, and he still gets
Yeah, you're
fired.
gonna need him.
Yeah, that's what if we get better and he still gets fired? No, that's a good question.
Well, if you're talking about putting assets into the defense on a coach with only 1 year left on his contract, right? So we're saying that we're going to give Evero 2 free agency guys, possibly, right? Like we're going to spend money on Rivera's defense. Then we're going to turn around. We're going to draft someone at number 8 for Rivera's defense. We might draft somebody at 57, which is our second round pick, and then 74 or 77, wherever it is in the third round. You give Rivera all these things, and he pops out next season. We still can't stop the run. Remind you that we gave up 6 straight games of 200 yards rushing.
I feel like
that's the
But
case.
that tells me it's more on coaching than it is the players. Then
I feel like this
Spotlight's
draft.
on him.
I feel like this draft is going to be like a more defensive draft, and then if Rivero is still not doing good, I feel like then it's going to be like, all right, Dan Morgan's going to be like, all right, we gave you half of the draft, we gave you all these free agents, and you're still not doing good. Then that's probably how they're going to go about it, and then firing him. That's how I think it's going to happen.
and this draft is very defensive heavy.
If we do go defense at 8, the way to think about it should be you're
Y'all
getting
ever
somebody
dip your
who's good enough
chocolate
that
Can I
play
can I
defense.
can I pose a
barbecue
question
sauce?
to y'all? Because I always been saying blue chip, blue chip, blue chip, blue chip. If you draft Aston Genty and he's a top 5 running back in this league, are you okay with it?
No.
Oh, dude.
If
Dude,
y'all
Absolutely not.
I'm not.
Absolutely.
Panther
Sign me up,
fans.
Chuck.
Panther fans would
You
lose.
just said
their
top
mind.
5 running back, though. I'm saying, yeah, I'll be the
top
only
5
one.
running back in the
Yeah, we
league.
would eventually be okay with it, but
That's
nobody
fine.
would be okay with
That would mean
drafting
Chuba
him.
would have got hurt.
Do we have a
Doesn't mean
running?
Chuba doesn't mean hurt.
Do we have a
The
running
Lions
problem?
do
He's
too.
starting
Because
over
he ain't
Chuba.
starting over Chuba.
The Lions
He's
do it
definitely
too.
starting over Chuba.
Did Christian McCaffrey start over Stewart?
That's Ron Rivera, bro. What the fuck? Are you
So?
serious
If
right now?
Aston Genty becomes a top 5 running back in the league, would you be okay with the pick either on?
Well, here's the thing.
No.
Here's the thing, man. If Ashton Genty comes out and looks like he did in Boise
Because
State,
Chuba's top
nobody's going to
10.
be mad that we drafted him at 8.
Let me ask y'all. Let me ask
Chuba is
y'all
not
this.
top 10.
Let me ask y'all this. I think in order to answer Chuck's question, a better question is this: did Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry's year this year change the way the NFL values running backs?
It's not just those two.
Those guys
It's
are elite
Josh
players.
Jacobs.
Yes.
It's Jameer Gibbs. It's
Yes.
Bijan Robinson. It's all of those guys, you know?
You remember, the running back used to be the best player on the team back in the day.
Yeah, dude, your offense was built around your running back.
Yeah, because the rules were made differently.
Right, that's what I'm
than they are
saying. So
today.
now that you have Saquon and Derrick Henry that were the literal linchpin of their offenses this year, does that change the way that the NFL handles running backs after they've been very devalued over the past?
Well, Cody, you always have to hit.
I think running backs have gained more
Wait,
back
hold on,
some more value.
let me get Noah, and then I'll pass it around. Go ahead, Noah.
Yes, running backs. I feel like Derek. Not Derek Brown. I was about to say Derek Brown. Man, I can't get his name right. Saquon Barkley, and right. What's the one from Ravens? I can't get his name.
Derrick
Derrick
Henry.
Henry. Derrick Henry. I feel like they did change how much you need a running back in this game. In the game of football now, because what Saquon did with the Eagles, I mean, that was just that was great. How he changed, because yeah.
But he wasn't a factor in the Super Bowl.
No, he wasn't a factor of the Super Bowl, but he was the factor of the playoffs.
No, McClure. He definitely was a factor in the Super Bowl. He was actually, this is exactly why going wide receiver in the first round is still a good thing. Because when you have an offensive line and running back that damn dominant and forces, defenses to focus in and stack the box and create one-on-ones on the outside. They got fucking AJ Brown and Devontae Smith on the outside with a safety blanket and Dallas Goedert, bro. It's like you got so many weapons on the perimeter and one-on-one situations that are just gonna eat that up. So that's why it matters. Everyone's saw in the Super Bowl, the Eagles only rushed 4, but it was different when they played us because we had an offensive line in front of Bryce. They had the blitz, which created one-on-one opportunities on the outside. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that. So if we had better weapons to take advantage of that and wouldn't have receivers dropping the ball in the damn end zone, we could have won games like that, even against great teams like that with the damn worst defense in the NFL we have. So That's why playing situational football can always be better. You know,
No,
it's always
100%.
gonna be an X's and O's games. No matter how much talent you have.
I
In
think
defense
for
too. In defense, look how they did Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. You need a defense.
and
You
also
need a
to
great
go on
defense.
what Evan was saying,
Yeah.
Saquon didn't have big numbers in the Super Bowl, but Jalen Hurts got as many rushing yards as he did because the Chiefs dedicated so many resources to stopping Saquon. So
I'm sure that was it. Those
his
weren't. Those were
stats.
scrambles, though.
No, but dude, what I'm saying is his stats, they weren't gaudy in the Super Bowl, but the defense of the Chiefs made their whole game plan around stopping him.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
they
and
were
that,
doing a good job, but the defense of the Eagles is the reason why the Eagles had so many chances.
no, you're not wrong. I mean, I'm just saying from the running back perspective, he
They're
was,
balanced.
yeah, they're balanced, and that was the dynamite of their offense. Because even if you were able to take it away, you had to allocate so many resources to stopping the run that you were opening it up for AJ Brown, you were opening it up for Green, you were opening it up for Jalen Hurts. You opened up the rest of the offense because of Saquon. So I do think there is some truth to what Nova's saying.
Yeah, like he didn't have like I was saying, he didn't have great stats, but he was most definitely a factor because Kansas City's
For
whole
sure.
plan was to stop him. And then like everybody's
Right.
saying, y'all left AJ Brown and Devontae Smith one-on-one and got killed for it.
I don't know if they got killed for it, but
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
did.
their
Because
offense
I just don't
did
think
what
the
they had
Eagles
to
had a
do.
really
Saquon
like.
Barkley's presence was
I don't
definitely
think
felt, and
the
his
Eagles'
gravity
offense
was
that
felt.
game was very like. It was good, but I don't think it was like wow.
What you mean it was good? Like
It wasn't.
it was.
The defense got basically two touchdowns for him.
They scored like 48 points. What are you
Yeah,
talking
but
about?
two
Now
by
the
the
defense, of
defense.
course, the defense made it a blowout,
Yeah, but you
but
hold
they
You
on.
kept
they
You
on
got to
lost
getting. You kept on
remember.
They got a
stopping them
Hold
on
on,
score,
third.
hold on,
Moment.
hold on.
You kept on
Even on the
stopping them
first,
on third and long.
even on the first offensive
but you
drive
still
How
got
they
many
a
times did they
score.
showed
get
you.
the ball back?
Remember they got that shit called back on the first offensive drive on that fluky
Mm-hmm.
call.
We
Yeah.
both
Like
got
they
calls on
already
the first drive.
they showed you on the first drive
yeah,
you
they
couldn't rush
didn't
Jalen
stop the
Hurts,
Eagles.
you couldn't stop AJ Brown, and Jalen Hurts threw a dime, but it got called back. That's the only reason they didn't even
How
score
many
from
times did they
But
get the
the very
Kevin,
ball
beginning.
after a 3 and out? How many times
the
did they get the
Super
ball back
Bowl.
after a 3 and out?
But Kevin, the
But then
Super
they
Bowl
didn't
is
stop them.
one.
They still
Wait,
didn't stop them.
hold on, Kevin.
But
The
did they
Super Bowl.
score when they got the damn
Eventually, you're
ball?
going
Was
to
the
weaken
point?
the defense because they're
Wait,
always
but
on the field.
Kevin, let me ask you. So even the
What's the
Super
difference
Bowl,
between the Eagles
take
and the
away the
49ers?
Super Bowl, Kevin. Would you not agree
I said yes.
that Saquon was that offense
I
for the
said yes.
Eagles? Right. So that's the point that we're making. If
The Chiefs had a
if
great defensive plan. It's just the
right,
Eagles' defense was better.
but what Chuck's original
Their
question
run
was.
defense was good. Their pass
They
defense
couldn't
was
stop the
abysmal.
Eagles' offense.
But listen,
They couldn't stop
what
the Eagles' pass. They
but the
couldn't stop
point
the
that we're
Eagles at all,
making here,
like at all.
like what Chuck was saying, if he ends up being a top 5 NFL running back, is it worth it to take him right there
Now
if
if
he
Chuba's going to be a
does?
top 10.
Chuba's not top 10, so
Man,
He
we
was
could
top 10
dead
last
that.
year.
Chuba
is
No, he
top 10.
wasn't.
listen.
No,
Chuba is
he's
top
not.
10.
Can we be real?
Chuba
Chuba
Hubbard
had a
being a
great
top
year,
10.
but
Come on, bro. Let's be real.
He's a top
yeah,
10
like
running back.
Can I?
Gentry,
Can I?
nah, bro, we're not gonna do
Wait, time out. I want to hear what Corey was going to say.
Did he
You can look it
produce
up.
at a top 10 level,
like
or is Chuba Hubbard
Yes.
his damn self,
Wait, hold on.
the actual player, a top 10 running back? Fuck no, he's not, bro.
Wait,
Come
hold
on,
on,
that
hold on,
you
hold
question.
know
on.
that.
Wait. Let me hear what Corey's question. Go ahead, Corey.
Okay, now again, the conversation is moot because Ashton Genty's not getting drafted by the Panthers. We all know this, but
Hey, don't
to
be
say
surprised. I'm just
that
saying.
it wouldn't be worth it to draft even top 5, top 3 if Ashton Genty looks like he did at Boise State in the NFL. To say, oh, it would be a wasted pick if Chuba's top 10. That's like such an
We have so
extension
many
to make.
holes on this team.
Chuba has to put multiple of these years together. And again,
Yes.
The
he had a
Eagles were the
great year.
perfect team, and they
You can
added Barkley.
and you can
We are
hide
god
those
awful on
and
defense.
you can hide those holes
That's why, dude. That's why I'm
by
saying the
taking up
conversation is
time of
moot. Like,
possession and running the ball with your great offensive line and elite fucking running back.
What did he do against Ohio State?
What?
What?
That
He
doesn't
didn't
matter
even play Ohio
anyway.
State.
oh my God, what the fuck are we talking about? We're not drafting Ashton. Like, this is not a. y'all taking this too literally. What are we talking about right now?
Okay,
I'm asking
No, I've
JP
been
is going to be
saying
a
for a
good
while
quarterback.
though. Like
It's not going to be a
number
prime
one,
example.
number one, we
Ashton
don't need
Genty wouldn't
Ashton
be a
Genty.
bad pick at all, though.
Corey. What if Tyler Warren ends up like the top 5 tight
We
end? That's like Brock Bowers did. Will you still have Tyler Warren?
I've been said that. I want a blue chip
yes, we
prospect
should
at
take
8.
Tyler
I don't
Warren.
care. Listen. I don't care if we take Mason Graham or Ted McMillan or Tyler Warren. If it is going to be an elite player that is going to be a top 5 player in the league and is a blue chip prospect, take him at 8 because you're drafting the top 10 to get a great player anyway.
Yes.
I would love to get Tyler Warren at 8 if he's going to be fucking
Carter,
Rob Gronkowski.
Mason Graham, Malachi Starks, Will Johnson, Tyler Warren, and Tedero McMillan. Them are the
I'm
6
passing
blue
on
chips,
tight
in
end.
my opinion. Yeah, because you don't want to win.
We're
That's
not,
why.
and again, y'all,
You
we're
don't want
not
the
in a
best players
position.
on the board.
That's not the best player.
But guys, this is
We're
what
not
I'm
in a position to
Yes,
saying.
be
he
picking
is.
and choosing
This
about
is
top
positions.
6 player in the
why
draft.
We need help
it's
everywhere.
literally this reason why
Can
right
I ask?
here.
Okay, Corey. Can I
Why
ask you this
this is
question?
why I want to trade back.
Corey, can I ask you
This
this
is
question?
I'm
why I
saying.
want to move
Go ahead.
back.
I want to hear.
Would you
Well,
take Jalen Walker, who's a project,
go out there and
over Ashton Genty?
No. Me
Would you
personally,
take
I don't
James?
want.
Would you?
Me personally, I don't want a project at 8. I
Okay.
think there are too many elite prospects in this draft, regardless of position.
Man, there's
to
not
reach.
too many. There's not too many. There's a few. There's
There's
not too
only
many.
5.
Elite.
But listen, but too many, whatever, right? But I think there is enough that there's going to be a blue chip prospect at 8 that I'm not going to be happy if we reach for an edge rusher who's going to be a project when we could have got a more sure thing who's going to be an elite at his respective position.
Agreed.
I don't think there's a sure thing in
But
this draft.
can we say this one thing
Go
too?
ahead, Noah.
No, there's
All right.
6 short things
Wait,
in
hold
this
on. Let me
draft.
let
Who
Noah
are
go.
they?
Okay, but one of them's going to be
Wait,
there.
hold on. Wait,
Somebody's
time out.
gotta
Time out.
take
Just
Time out.
it.
said
Time
the
out.
6.
Hold on.
It's
Time out.
Carter.
Let me let Noah go. Go ahead, Noah.
I feel like personally, like what Cody said, trade back. We don't have a high second round pick. If we can get some more draft capital on the board, I mean, that's the best option. That's the best option to do.
All I'm saying is if we miss out, if we have one of those guys in our hands that we could have potentially had, and then we trade back and we miss out on a perennial all-pro, future Hall of Famer guy in favor for an extra second-round pick, we're going to be mad in the next 5 years. If Ted McMillan ends up becoming Mike Evans or if Mason Graham ends up becoming freaking Aaron Donald light,
Oh no
we're
no
not
no
going to
no
give
no!
a shit about
I
that
never
second-round pick.
said Ashton Genty over Ted McMillan. I never said that. I
I'm
just
not
said
talking about
that.
Ashton Genty.
Oh
What are you
okay.
talking about? I'm not talking about Ashton Genty at all. He's not a factor. I don't think there's 0% chance we draft Genty. I'm talking about drafting somebody like Ted or Graham or Will Johnson or fucking. I mean,
We
he's
should be
not going to
happy with
fall.
all those players.
But
We should be
yo,
happy
Look
with
how
am I
many
the
those guys.
only
look
I would
how
one?
many
rather
great
take one of
rookies
those
last year
guys
came
and
in the
trade
second.
Can I
back and
ask
get
y'all a
somebody who's a
question?
project.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Sure.
Am I the only one who's not sold on Ted McMillan being worth the 8th overall pick?
Like too many people
I
are
Why is
love
that?
saying like
man.
it's Mike
I love
Evans.
it.
I
Why
don't
is that,
see it.
Cody?
Because the reason I say that is because, like, to me, I don't see enough top end speed
I had to
against.
watch his 40.
I don't see enough top end speed against top flight competition to warrant him being that type of pick.
Against top end competition. Yeah, well, I just remember he smoked Travis Hunter in 2023, his really great year. Not this previous season, but the year before that to put him on the map.
But
I
doesn't he
remember
also have like 5 inches and 20 pounds on him or something?
Hey
But
man, that's the best
he's
corner
gonna
in the
have that against a
class.
lot of guys. He's a big receiver.
Exactly.
Corey, are you? Do you feel? No, I'm sorry, Cody. Do you feel like it's like
You're
Kellen
right though
Benjamin
about the
vibes or
speed.
no?
It's like no.
I don't know if it's Benjamin. No, I think no. I feel that he's way more athletic than Kelvin Benjamin, but I don't look at everything that he does and see a top 10 pick at wide receiver.
You don't see Mike Evans.
See, that's the comp that everyone
No, I
makes.
don't see
But
Mike Evans
no,
either.
I don't know that that's a.
But Mike
I
Evans
see
never
him.
had top
Maybe
I
I'm
see him.
wrong. I don't see
I
him
see a more
as a top
physical
10 prop.
yards after the catch version of Drake London. That's what I see. You know, like
Yes, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
That's
Drake
not a
London was
bad comp.
Drake London was a top 10 pick, and he's
He's a great
into a
player.
very good, almost elite wide receiver. If he puts more of these years together, he's going to be considered elite. And I think Ted's a better prospect than Drake.
Drake was my number one over Garrett Wilson and Olave. Like that's how you knew I thought he was great.
So,
I thought that
Corey, are you
motherfucker.
saying that he's a better prospect than Drake
Cody.
London?
Me personally, I think more highly of Ted McMillan coming out of school than I did of Drake London.
Okay.
Yo, Cody, these are the 7 guys, all right? These are the 7 guys. When Roger Goodell get up there and he says the Carolina Panthers select, if it's one of these 7 names, I'm not really going to complain. All right, so we got Mason Graham, Will Johnson, the 2 Michigan guys. We got Tyler Warren and Abdul Carter from Penn State. We got Malachi Starks. We got Ashton Genty and Tedorow McMillan. Those are the 7 guys.
Can I ask you a question?
What's up, Kevin?
If you had to trade next year's first to get one of those guys, would you?
No. Trade him first? No.
I'm just saying, in the hypothetical, all those guys are gone except for one. Would you trade it first to make sure you get them?
No, because we still need so much talent. We're going to need that first round pick next year.
Yeah.
We're still gonna have
I'm
to
just
wait
saying,
for
like, how
goals.
blue chip are they if you're not willing to move up for them?
There's no generational.
That's what I'm saying. How many are locks? Like JJ said, there's some locks. I'm like,
those are the 7 locks.
Blue chip and generation are 2 different things.
Yeah, those are the
7
locks.
locks.
You don't have to be willing to give up future draft capital just to
I'm
be
just
like,
saying,
oh, yeah,
if you had to give up one, a first next year to get that one of those 6.
A lock
I'm not
is
doing that for anybody. I'm not
7.
doing
Yeah,
that
not
for
doing that for anybody. 7 locks.
He did for Bryce. I mean,
A lock is they're
No,
going to be a starter.
No, David
and
Tepper did that shit for Bryce Young. I did that shit for CJ Stroud, and you know that. Because CJ was worth that shit. Boy, we could have gave up 5 first-round picks for CJ Stroud. I'd have said it was worth it. I promise you I would have.
I personally don't think the reason I wouldn't trade it is not because I don't think these guys are going to be instant contributors on the team. We're just not good enough, and we have too many holes to give up a future first round pick.
You know what?
I'm
the
just
year
basing
is.
off the talent
You know
alone.
what the year is to get those 2 picks and trade picks and get multiple picks is the 2028 draft. When
I'm just
Ryan
saying,
Williams
not because
comes
of our
out,
team.
when Jeremiah Smith comes out, that's the thing. Like, okay, I'm betting.
Kevin, I'm not against trading back. It's just I only want to trade back if we get an extra first-round pick, you know? I'm not trying to trade back to get, like, an extra day 2 pick. Like, yeah, an extra day 2 pick is cool and all, but
That's where
we're
the meat
probably
is.
not going to maximize that day 2 pick regardless. So if we're going to maximize trading back, we need an extra first. So, and that's why, and I do think those 7 players are like considered blue chip players because those are the 7 players I look at in the class. And I'm like, okay, these guys have the best chance of being like Pro Bowl level day 1, you know, and could even maximize more to where they're, you know, maybe an all pro, maybe, you know, future up and coming star up in the NFL, shit like that. But I think those are going to be the best day 1 starters in this draft class.
What do you think about Luther Burden?
He's a great player, but he's also pretty raw. You know, I saw some good things on a clip from Theo Ash. Chuck, I don't know if you know who Theo Ash is, but I
Yeah, I do.
respect his opinion.
I follow him.
And yeah, he put out a report on him, and you know, I saw some good things I already knew about him, and then I saw some weaknesses that I already knew about him. So I was like, you know, I trust Dave Canales. If we draft Luther Burden, I'm gonna trust Dave Canales, what he analyzed from him, how he expects to use him and all that, how he expects him to work out with Bryce Young. I expect shit like that if we're willing to draft him at 8. But I'd rather us trade back if we're gonna get Burden, you know. But yeah, if we're not gonna pick one of those 7 players I mentioned, then you trade back and preferably to get a first round pick in that same process. But if one of those 7 are on the board, you don't even think about trading back, in my opinion. It's only once those guys are off the board.
So you know where James Pierce goes to, and
You still there, Kobe?
Yeah, I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we hear you.
Hey, look,
You've
I'm
been
gonna just
quiet
be.
today.
No, I haven't. I've just been eating this Taco Bell on mute for like 15 minutes.
Oh shit!
I only have like 3 players I like have confidence in, really.
No,
be
but
like first
Cody, I'm
round
not
talent.
trading back until you can show me that we know how to draft what we're supposed to. I'm not trading back. And then
But
giving
what
up
if
for
we don't?
Jesse
If you don't trust
Lupus.
us drafting, wouldn't you want to have multiple?
No, because that means you're gonna fuck up more picks and you lost value on all of them. No.
You gotta trust the process, man.
Yeah,
Detroit,
I tried that with
Detroit
Matt
couldn't
Rule.
draft.
I
Yo,
could trust the
Detroit couldn't draft
process
until they
if it's
could.
in the first round. Yeah, because they have multiple first round picks. They had the Rams first round pick for 2 years. That's what helped. That's why they was
And they hit
all of
on
a sudden
both.
able to draft. Yeah, of course you're gonna hit on 2 first round picks, even though Jack Campbell's
I
still
mean, some
questionable.
people don't hit on
You know,
first.
That's
but
what we need to
I
trade
mean,
up for if we got to in the second. It's Jack.
exactly. And then they even made up for the Jack Campbell pick in the second round because they got
And
Laporta and Brian Branch in
I
the
also
second
heard,
round. So
this mid-round draft and like a second rounder are about the same talent wise.
yeah, everybody thinks outside of like the
That's why I
top
want to
5
trade into it
players.
again.
Who is there's how many
Most
first round
people think
picks?
outside of the top 5 players, like between 5 and like 60, they're all around the
They're
same
all the
pool and
same. All these
tier.
pass rushers are. That's what I've been saying for these. I've not seen the tape of
No,
all these guys.
they're not
They're
the
all
same.
the
JT
same, huh?
Tuimoloau is just better.
Huh? Yeah, there's 2 of them. Mason.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
God.
Yeah. Hey man, stop sleeping on Tui
Hey,
Molotow, man.
what do y'all think about Scorton?
Oh
Is that that
no.
linebacker?
Scorton? No,
No, he's
that's
talking about
Texas
them
A&M.
Texas A&M. Yeah,
His
we
numbers are
don't want them
shitty, but
boys.
he looks like a
Oh
fucking
yeah.
creative player.
Colby, if I didn't
hey.
know any better, I would have thought you said, "Well, y'all think about squirting."
Yo, what y'all think about
Listen,
that?
you're gross.
It is
and-
10
He knows
o'clock.
what's up.
I
Eddie
mean,
knows
bro,
what's
I'm like,
up.
that's not the show for
He
this.
want that WAP, baby. He want the WAP. Anyways,
Damn.
6'4", 285 is what he's talking about at defensive end. 6'4", 285. Big boy.
He don't
Hey.
look like a 285. He looks muscular.
He fits the whole profile of the Panthers, going off of like your athletic profile and what you can be. He stops the run great. Both of them do. They just weren't the most productive pass rushers.
Skills,
I
you know
don't
who
know
he
about him.
reminds me of without the accolades and stats? My boy Mario Williams from NC State.
JT
Just big as
Tuimoloau
hell
is an
like that.
eagle. All right, I just want y'all to know that. I called it here first. All right, bookmark it. This is another one of JJ's W's. He's gonna get in the receipt category. All right, Tuimoloau will be an eagle.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right, man. Dude, we're running up against 10 o'clock. It has been a 30-hour Friday free-for-all. And, man, we appreciate y'all, dude. Everybody that came through, y'all the ones that make this show every single Friday, man. I could not do it without you. Thanks to everybody who came in, man. Pickle was here. Noah was here. Chuck was here. Dude, we had a great show today, man. And I knew we would. We still didn't even talk about everything. We didn't talk about Steve Smith, which, thank God. I'm kind of happy
Let's
to be
let it
past
breathe.
that. Yeah, letting that breathe. Yeah, kind of moving on from the drama. As weeks go on, we are going to continue to do mock drafts as we continue to learn more about these players. But as always, man, I appreciate the hell out of y'all spending your Friday evenings with us at the C3 Panthers Podcast. Let me give everybody their outro real quick. My boy, White Chocolate Espresso. Kev, give me your final thoughts for the free-for-all, bro.
We're not getting Higgins. Get it out your mind.
Damn.
Settle.
We're getting Higgins.
Oh,
I don't
Clemson
believe it. I don't believe it for a second.
All right, man. I know why. I know why you say that, but
No, I mean, we're not getting him or drafting Clemson players, so you can get that out of your mind, too.
That's another thing, Cody. I said that for Alabama, but it is hilarious how like the Panthers were like, you know what? Clemson, they may have had the second best dynasty damn near ever where they went to
bro,
like
we
4 out of 5.
literally share
You
a
know,
history.
we
Y'all ruined that history with FanFest.
Cody, y'all may have been going blow for blow with Alabama at their peak, but you know what?
Y'all
We'd
ruined that
rather
history
draft
with
from this bum
FanFest,
ass
Cody.
South Carolina school.
Y'all ruined
Like,
that
they was
history
like,
with FanFest. Nobody showed up.
Bro, y'all are
at
annoying.
least they got history.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like
History, keyword.
what does South Carolina have other than a whole
A
bunch
future.
of empty,
They
a
got
bunch of
no
a
We got
bunch
a
of
no.
empty,
future.
a bunch of
You ain't
empty
got
trophy
nothing.
cases, empty trophy
You
cases.
ain't.
That's
Who won
all.
last year?
He
A bunch
Who
of
said
won
they
empty
last
got
year?
a
trophy cases.
future.
Who won last year?
They
Third
A
and
got
bunch of
17.
empty
Ohio
trophy
State.
cases.
That's who
Third and
won.
16.
That's
Third and
who
All right,
won.
we're
16,
off the
Cody.
Ohio State
rails.
won. They won the
Next
trophy,
up,
bro.
my
That's all
man
that matters.
Cole on the free for all. Colby, you
Y'all
know we
lost to
appreciate you,
Illinois.
bro. Give me your
Good
final
man.
thoughts for the show, man.
I'm just appreciative to everybody that listens to us every Friday, and I'm even more appreciative to be spending it with y'all, man. That's all I got. Keep pounding. We'll do it again next week.
Much love. Keep pounding. My dog JJ, I appreciate you, man. You're always electric on the free for all. What are your final thoughts for the show today, bro?
Nothing new, man. Maybe a post game space. Who knows how I'm feeling? But
All right, y'all check out JJ on Twitter or X, however.
absolutely. We need to draft Buckeyes, man. 2015, we have 4 Ohio State players on the roster. No other school had as many. I think that was a clear indicator. The Panthers are at their best with the Ohio State players on the roster.
My God.
So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
go ahead. They just won a national championship. There's plenty of players.
JJ, I want to ask
It's a
you one
loaded
more
roster,
question.
man. What's
I
up?
want to ask you one more question before we jump out of here. Do you think Jack Sawyer would be a good fit for the Panthers?
No,
Yes.
no, I
No.
would take Tui Moloa over him for
Okay,
sure.
why not Sawyer?
I don't know, man. Like Sawyer, he's a very upper body player. He doesn't have that drive where he could just like push you back like with his lower body and that extra, that inf. He's always, he's got good technique. He's got good fundamentals. He's pretty athletic. Like he can bend around the corner
Yeah.
and he's pretty fast. But like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. I've just always thought Tui Moloa was the better player, honestly,
And
with both of them.
y'all run a 4-3, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
4-3,
So
I guess. We
Sawyer
run a
probably
4-2-5, honestly.
Yeah.
Where
A lot of teams
yeah,
do.
that's
No,
basically what we
I just wanted to
run
ask your
nickel.
opinion on that because for draft tech, that's who I had us taking in the second round, and he was a value in the second round too. So
Yeah,
no,
at 57, that'd be a good pick. But like, I
Yeah.
don't know. If both of them were there, I'm always gonna go Tui Moloa.
No, I hear you. I appreciate you as always, man. Last but never least, the brand ambassador
The man.
closing out the Friday free for all. Diesel Skills, you're the man. Appreciate you
dog.
as always, brother. It wouldn't be a free for all without you. Take us out of here, man.
Yeah, let's do it, man. We had so much fun tonight, bro. And I'm gonna tell you what, the head of PFF, Pro Football Focus, sat down with Anish from the Carolina Panthers. They put out a YouTube video of it today. Go back and watch it if you haven't seen it yet, because it's cool. He kind of outlines how the draft might lay out for the Carolina Panthers. And one of the players he picked to come to us was Cam Scatterboo, which you see right here in my background. So that's why I had to fly the Cam Scatterboo once again on a Friday free for all.
Man.
Here live for everybody at 7 p.m. So I'm excited about that. Everything that Dan Morgan and Dave Canales have said in these combine interviews has been interesting. It's been fantastic. Looks like good leadership, better than what we've seen before here by the Panthers. We look more confident going into the draft, and I'm excited to see where the Panthers kind of round out things and wind up. I think we can go a lot of different directions, and all of them are probably upgrades at this point to where we were last season. So I'm excited for us going forward in the C3 coverage as well. I just want you guys to realize that it's not just a community here on YouTube where you can be a super fan for just a couple of dollars a month and contribute to the longest running Panthers podcast, but we have a whole nother universe on X itself. Where everybody is that is here on YouTube. We're on the X app, and you can join us for spaces. We had a space Sunday night by JJ. Then we had another space Monday by Panther Pickle that did well. Or was it? I think it was Cole that did that space on Monday, and then Panther Pickle did a combine space on Thursday. So there's a whole other universe to be explored within the C3 Panthers Podcast and the C3 Legion. So join us on X when you get the opportunity. We invite you to join our conversation about these Carolina Panthers moving forward and what you think the Carolina Panthers might do. Because C3, this is where the fans matter. Take us out, Cody.
C3 Legion. My name is Cody Lashney. This has been another edition of the C3 Friday Free-For-All. Until this Tuesday night at 9, you already know what we're going to do. We're going to keep pounding, baby.